I'm Jim Hunter. I'll be back at halftime. We'll look ahead to our second game this afternoon, the NFC Championship game. You'll hear from Packers head coach Mike Holmgren and 49ers tight end Brent Jones. But right now, time for the AFC Championship game, the first half of our Championship Sunday doubleheader, the Broncos and the Steelers. Let's get you back to Three Rivers Stadium and rejoin Brad Sham with Pat Hayden. Brad?
All right, Jim, thank you very much. On a spectacular day, the Denver Broncos have won the toss. They'll have the football first, and they will return it from our left to our right. And the Heat, sure start of the game, is sponsored by Heat Gasline Antifreeze. Heat happens in winter. Again, the weather, not a factor. It is sunny, bright blue skies, most of the field covered in sunshine at the moment, and the temperature with a wind no more than 4 or 5 miles an hour down on the field level. The temperature is in the upper 30s. Our booth thermometer, unofficially, 36, 37 degrees now. The Broncos in their white uniforms with the navy helmets and navy and orange trim, and the Steelers, as they love to do at home. And, Pat, it wouldn't quite look right if it wasn't the Steelers not in the black shirts and helmets and the bright gold pants.
And I think everybody in the stands is wearing either a Cordell Stewart jersey or Jerome Bettis jersey and waving their orange terrible towels.
Norm Johnson will kick it away to Vaughn Hebron. From right to left, the AFC Championship game is underway. The kick is very short. Hebron at the 8. Brings it up at the 15, a hole at the 20, a seam to the 30, and he's belted it around the 32-yard line. And so the Denver Broncos, trying to become just the 5th team in NFL history to reach the Super Bowl as a wild card, will start at their own 32 with John Elway, the 8-time Pro Bowler at quarterback, Terrell Davis and Howard Griffith in the backfield. Shannon Sharp is the tight end. The wide receivers are Rod Smith and Ed McCaffrey. McCaffrey was injured when they played in December. Tom Nalen, the center. The guards, Mark Schlereth and Brian Habib. The tackles are Gary Zimmerman and Tony Jones. And the Broncos, Elway will throw on the right flat for the first play of the game. The pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage. It is broken up by defensive end Nolan Harrison. Harrison in a 3-man front with Joel Steed and Kevin Henry. The linebackers, Jason Gilden and Dante Jones outside, Levon Kirkland and Earl Holmes inside. On the corners, Carnell Lake and Chad Scott. The safeties are Darren Perry and Myron Bell. And the Broncos look at 2nd down and 10 at their own 33. They go out of an I formation, a receiver on each side, and Elway with a play-action fake throws it over the middle, and it is intercepted at the 43-yard line by Levon Kirkland, covering McCaffrey one-on-one, and Kirkland dropping into coverage comes up with a critical early turnover for the Steelers.
Absolutely. Levon Kirkland, the inside linebacker, 275 pounds, is really an anomaly. A guy that big, who's that quick and that mobile, and then soft hands. It was like a one-handed interception. First 2 plays, John Elway trying to get the ball to Shannon Sharp. The first play was knocked down by Nolan Harrison. The second pass intercepted by the middle linebacker, Levon Kirkland. So Pittsburgh's defense, once again, does a terrific job and off to a good start.
Kirkland had 2 interceptions in the regular season, and the Steelers start in Denver territory at the 43, and Cordell Stewart has the bus, Jerome Bettis, behind him, and a tight end, Bruner, comes in motion from left to right, and the first play is going to be a pass. Stewart back to throw it over the middle, and a sliding catch on a skinny post at the 27 by the tight end, Mark Bruner.
Well, they don't throw the ball to the tight end much. Bruner only had 18 catches all year long. So the defense turns it over with great field position. First play, Cordell Stewart, 5-step drop, good protection, hung in there, kind of really put it in a tight spot, right to his tight end over the middle, Mark Bruner, for a nice gain on 1st down.
Tim Lester, the fullback, in front of Bettis in the eye. Yancey Thigpen and Charles Johnson, the wide receivers. Now Johnson motion, right to left, sets up there. Flip is toss left to Bettis, trying to get the corner turn, and Ray Crockett, the corner, takes his feet out from under him at around the 23-yard line. That Steelers offensive line, the all-pro center, Dermontti Dawson, Will Wolford and Brendan Stye are the guards. John Jackson and Justin Strelzik are the tackles. Defensively for Denver, a 4-man front, and they're healthier by a bunch than they were in early December when they played here. Neil Smith, Keith Traylor, Ma'a Tanuvasa, and Alfred Williams from left to right. The linebackers, Bill Romanowski, Alan Aldridge, and John Mobley. On the corners, Ray Crockett and Darian Gordon. The safeties, Tyrone Braxton and Steve Atwater. One setback, Lester now, and they'll give it to him, make it Bettis, and straight up the middle he goes to the 20. 2 yards short of the first down, brought down by Braxton, and it will now be third down and about 2. And now, Pat, we get into the area that Jim was talking about in the pregame show. Well, maybe not on this play as the Steelers go to their nickel package, but the Steelers want to be able to run on Denver. The stat sheet says you can, but that's not necessarily held up the last half of the year.
Well, yeah, Denver's come on, and particularly Keith Traylor, defensive tackle. Here on this 3rd and 3, I think Cordell Stewart has become the most difficult single player to defend on 3rd and 5 or less.
3 wide outs on the right side of the formation, and now one of them comes in motion and out of the shotgun. Stewart on 3rd and 3, throwing it over the middle, incomplete. There is no receiver there at the 5-yard line. Yancey Thigpen may have been the intended receiver, but Stewart's pass is high, and the field goal team will come on.
Yeah, I think Courtney Hawkins was in that area too, Brad. I think it was really some miscommunication between Courtney Hawkins and Cordell Stewart. Cordell Stewart was expecting him to run like a post pattern, but Courtney Hawkins stopped, and now the Pittsburgh Steelers on their opening possession will have a field goal attempt, relatively short one.
15-year veteran Norm Johnson was 88% for the year. This ball spotted at the 23. A 33-yarder between the hash marks, long enough, but he missed it. He pushed it wide, and a gimme for the Steelers in terms of field position to start the game goes for naught as Johnson misses from 33 yards, and we are still 0-0 with 12:33 to play in the first quarter. You're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS Radio Sports.
In Elkhart, call 262-3626. In Warsaw, 269-3838.
CBS Radio Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Gold Eagle Leak Stoppers and by Heat Gasline Antifreeze. Heat happens in winter.
Well done, Brad.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah.
Well, the Broncos still in a 0-0 tie, take over at the 28 after the missed field goal. Offset eye, wing to the right. And here's Terrell Davis getting the ball for the first time. Left guard, big hole to the 40. Midfield in a foot race to the 40 of the Steelers. Down to the 30 to the sideline, still going. And forced out of bounds. And around the 27-yard line by Carnell Lake. And Terrell Davis, who was ignored on the first possession by the Broncos, reminds the Steelers that he's here. 44 yards.
I tell you, a great run, by Terrell Davis, and good blocking on their left side. Gary Zimmerman, Mark Schlereth on the left side. Terrell Davis was going to run outside, then cut it back inside, breaks a couple of tackles, and runs 44 yards. Remember, in the first game, the whole game, they only ran for 89 yards. He picks up 44 yards on his first carry.
One setback, the fullback Griffith in motion off a tight end spot, and they run a draw to Davis coming right up the middle, and he's only got a yard or two at around the 28 before Nolan Harrison gets him.
It's going to be very hard for Denver to take the ball and hand it to Terrell Davis and just run straight ahead, because you got Joel Steed, Levon Kirkland, Earl Holmes, all three really good defenders. They're going to have more success as they did on the 44-yard run, Brad, I think. Giving him the ball, letting him go outside a little bit, and then cut back where he finds a soft spot, because it's really tough to move their nose tackle, Joel Steed.
2nd and 8, Denver at the Pittsburgh 27, split backs, both receivers on the left, and here comes Rod Smith in motion to the right. Tight end on the right. Elway, straight drop, a great block from Zimmerman, throws it left underneath to Davis, caught for only a 2-yard gain, and then immediately he is buried by Holmes, the linebacker, and Lake, the safety. If you joined us late, just got in the car, whatever, the Broncos had the first possession of the game, threw an interception. Levon Kirkland stepped in front of Sharp, the tight end, to pick the ball off at the 43 of Denver, and then Norm Johnson missed a 33-yard field goal. He had not missed from under 40 yards all year long.
Even if you didn't join us late, that's what happened.
That's what happened. Yeah. That's very true. Elway is back in the shotgun on 3rd down and about 6. Sharp comes in motion out of the gun, sets up in the right slot. Elway throws it over the middle. A terrific catch by McCaffrey. First down to the 13-yard line. And there's one of the factors we didn't address in the pregame that's different from December 7th when the Steelers came from 21-7 down to win. McCaffrey didn't play in that game, and Pat, we've seen it throughout the year. This guy is a major factor for the Denver Broncos.
Remember last week, the 3rd and 5 play against Kansas City in the playoff game, the play of the game, really. Ed McCaffrey had that long reception. A dependable guy, big target, catches a slant pass for a first down there.
Gain of 11, first down at the 14-yard line of Pittsburgh. Offset I, wing left, McCaffrey motion left, Elway, draw to Davis, at left guard to the 10, and across it down to the 8-yard line.
There's that thing again. Terrell Davis kind of going wide and then taking the ball upfield. Tough to run straight at Joel Steed, as we've talked about, but they've had success when he runs wide left, then cuts it back inside. Also, watch Ed McCaffrey blocking as a wide receiver. He is a very good blocker. Play before this, he catches the pass for the first down. That time he goes in motion, throws a nice block for Terrell Davis.
Davis, 6 carries, 51 yards or 3 carries, 51 yards on the possession. And now on second down, out of an offset I wing left, Griffith the wing, motion to the right, pitch right to Davis, cuts it up and around the 5, strolls in, touchdown Denver Broncos. Strong inside running for Davis and tremendous point of attack blocking on the right side of the Denver offensive line.
Yeah, and that time it was a pitch play. Again, when they've had success in this drive, they had a lot of success running the ball. They gave Terrell Davis multiple options. It was a pitch to the right, his first run to the right. And he pitches that as the ball's pitched out. It picks up a nice block by Shannon Sharp, his tight end. Tony Jones, the right tackle, does his part. And then Terrell Davis cuts it back inside, breaks 2 tackles for a touchdown.
7-yard run, and now the extra point try. Jason Elam's kick is good with 9:18 remaining in the first quarter. Denver scores first. They lead Pittsburgh 7-0, and you're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS Radio Sports.
New from NBA Video. Join the superstars and legends of basketball.
Field goal by the Steelers goes 72 yards in 7 plays. They had a 44-yard explosion by Terrell Davis and that big 11-yard pass to Ed McCaffrey. And they have the first score, 7-0, and Elam will kick it away now. Blackwell, one of 2 safeties, and it's a very short kick. Blackwell up under it at the 16, comes right 25 to the 35 and tripped. A really short kick by Jason Elam, and the Broncos give up some field position because of that. Keith Burns with the stop after a 19-yard return.
Well, on that 72-yard drive, scoring drive by the Broncos, Terrell Davis was fabulous. 4 carries, 59 yards. Most of those came to hit on his left side, but the touchdown run off the right side, good blocks by Shannon Sharp, and Tony Jones led the way.
So now the Steelers take over at their own 35, their second possession, an I formation. Bettis the deep man. Here comes Johnson from right wide receiver in motion. They hand it off to Bettis at guard, pounding on the right for 2. Up around the 37, and then Tanuvasa and Williams make the stop. And the point made by Denver fans and coaches is the difference in the Denver defensive line from the last time they were here in their health. Tanuvasa didn't play at all. Smith and Williams played hurt, and so did Harold Hasselback, who actually came out of the game early.
And don't forget, Keith Traylor's really come on. The last few weeks, their defensive tackle, Keith Traylor, number 94, has played very well.
Second and officially 7 out of the I. Johnson in motion this time left to right. Handoff, Bettis coming at left guard. Bangs across the 40. Up around the 42-yard line. He'll be stopped 2 or 3 yards short of the first down by John Mobley.
Well, that's 4 carries now for Jerome Bettis, only 14 yards. So early on in this ball game, Terrell Davis with 59 yards, Jerome Bettis only with 14, both on 4 carries. So Terrell Davis is getting the better of it, obviously, with the long 44-yard run on their second drive.
Now, the first time the Steelers had 3rd and about 3, didn't convert. That resulted in the field goal try, and now they have it again with a 4-wide set and Stewart in the shotgun. 3 receivers right. Stewart back out of the gun, throws it to his right, caught at the 45. First down and a vicious hit on the receiver, Courtney Hawkins, but he's got the football and the first down.
Darius Johnson, I believe, number 25, one of the defensive backs, one of the nickel backs, absolutely leveled Courtney Hawkins. I'm surprised he held onto the ball, ran a hook route, knew exactly where the first down was, but just took a vicious shot by Darius Johnson, held on for the first down. So well played there by Courtney Hawkins.
Now it's Johnson right, Thigpen left. Thigpen, of course, going to the Pro Bowl again. And the I formation behind Stewart on first down, and Johnson again in motion. And Stewart with a play-action fake, half roll to the right, a great block from Lester, throws it back to the left sideline, and Thigpen is there and bobbled the ball at the 25-yard line of the Denver Broncos, and Thigpen dropped the ball.
And it would have been, maybe 30, 35-yard pass gain by Thigpen? Thigpen has had a terrific year. You mentioned him going to the Pro Bowl. 79 catches, almost 1,400 yards, and averaged almost 18 yards a catch. But he ran a corner route, beat the defensive back badly, Ray Crockett. The ball well thrown by Cordell Stewart, would have been about a 35-yard gain. Just plain dropped it.
Broncos were the team bedeviled by drops when they played here in December. 2nd and 10 out of the eye. Johnson again in motion from left to right, and now back outside left. Stewart straight drop. Deep ball to the middle, sliding catch by Thigpen for a first down at the Denver 32-yard line in front of Ray Crockett.
The thing about Thigpen, that was a 20-yard catch by Yancey Thigpen. As we said, this guy, for as many balls as he caught, 79 during the course of the year, averaged almost 18 yards a catch. I mean, a lot of receivers these days are catching those a lot of 6- and 7-yard pass plays, but Yancey Thigpen gets down the field. Dropped one to play earlier, but that one for 20 yards and a first down.
Thigpen led AFC receivers in average yards per catch during the year. 1st and 10. The Steelers answer at the Denver 33. One setback now, Bettis. And Stewart with a quick little drop. Fakes a pass left and a quarterback boot around the right, running down to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the sideline. Touchdown, Cordell Stewart. 33 yards. The All-Pro center, Dermontti Dawson, got out in front and pulled. And that's a design play. That's a quarterback bootleg draw off a fake pass.
What a great call by Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator of the Steelers. And you're taking advantage of the unique talents of Cordell Stewart. Last week, a 40-yard touchdown run as they beat the Patriots. And then on their second drive, he fakes a little screen pass to his left, rolls to his right, and goes 33 yards for a touchdown.
Now Norm Johnson's extra point. It is through with 6:16 to play in the first quarter. The battle has been joined. It's Denver 7, Pittsburgh 7, and you're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS Radio Sports.
Okay, car, start.
But I'm so cold.
Who said that?
It's your car, sugar. You know what I need.
I do.
I need heat, baby.
Heat?
Heat, gas line, and...
CBS Radio Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by 4 Points Hotels by Sheraton, your teammate on the road. Later this afternoon at 3:45 Eastern Time, the NFC Championship game, San Francisco and Green Bay at 3Com Park, and hopefully Matt Millen will be able to identify all three comms for us. We'll
I only got 2 last week.
Yeah, we'll be listening for that. But here, the Steelers have just answered the Denver touchdown with a 65-yard drive, 7 plays, 2 minutes and 53 seconds. And Cordell Stewart, in the first half of the first quarter, has 33 yards rushing and 42 yards passing. And Norm Johnson's kickoff, with the return man Hebron looking into a bright sun. He takes it at the 8-yard line, brings it up left 15, trouble with a hurdling tackler at the 20, and down he goes at the 20-yard line. Good coverage on the kickoff by the Steelers. Tim Lester with the tackle.
Brad, just kind of want to talk some more about Cordell Stewart, what a unique player he is, and you know, you forget what kind of year he's had as a quarterback. I mean, this is his very first year as a starter. 3rd year in the league, but first year as a starter. But he threw for 21 touchdowns, over 3,000 yards, did throw 17 interceptions, but then he had a 74-yard run against the Ravens, a 40-yard run last week in a playoff game, and then just a 33-yard touchdown. He has had a magnificent year thus far.
The Broncos start at the 21. Elway tosses it left to Terrell Davis, and he is stoned in the hole by Earl Holmes. Wow! He tried to come at left guard, and Earl Holmes straightened him up and drove him back. Earl Holmes, 250 pounds in his second year out of Florida A&M.
Well, I remember we were talking to Mike Archer, the linebacker coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, right before the game, and said, hey, I've been blessed. I've had some great linebackers to coach here over the last few years, and including this year, Levon Kirkland and Jason Gilden. But he said, Earl Holmes is one of those guys who has played as well as anybody on his squad.
A loss of a yard, 2nd and 11. One setback. McCaffrey comes in motion, and they give it again to Davis, coming at left tackle. twists and turns for a couple. Back to the original line of scrimmage. Levon Kirkland then makes the stop, and it'll be 3rd down and 9. And this is what's so interesting about a football crowd in a big game. When Kirkland made the interception, the crowd went nuts. When Johnson missed the field goal, they got pretty quiet. When the Broncos scored, it was like the stadium was empty, and now they're all back again.
Yeah. They were also, Jim Haslett said to us before the game, Brad, when the fullback Howard Griffith comes out of the game, and he's come out of the game now, they want to blitz and get after John Elway. Well, Howard Griffith just went off the field, and they're in a spread formation.
And a lot of confusion, and Sharp's lined up on the wrong side, and John Elway's got to call time. He was down to 1 second remaining on the play clock. Sharp was in the wrong place. Sharp is talking in great exasperation to Elway right now, as Elway has to use the Broncos' first timeout and go to the sideline to get the formation set. We are 7-7, 4:43 left in the first quarter, and you're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS.
Brad Leachfoot, get this. Tough actin' to actin'. Use only as directed.
Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
95.7 FM is WLRX, Napanee, Warsaw, Star 96.
With Pat Hayden and our legendary producer Norman Bear, Brad Sham at a sold-out and noisy Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. And the terrible towels are all waving as the Broncos look at 3rd and 9 at their own 22. Elway in the shotgun, McCaffrey in motion to the left. Here comes the blitz. Elway back, flags are down. The pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage and falls harmlessly incomplete. But we had a flag go down on the left sideline. Our referee today is Ron Bloom, and we'll hear from him. Offside, Pittsburgh. Somebody got a little excited on that blitz.
Well, it's one of those themes we're going to be watching, Brad. When Howard Griffith goes out of the ball game, Pittsburgh wants to blitz. Howard Griffith was out of the ball game. They came after him, but they were anxious, over-anxious.
Offside, 30 defense, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
Boy, you hate that. Chad Scott, the rookie cornerback from Maryland, the first-round pick, lining up in the neutral zone, and that really is a case of overexuberance. Now Chris Oldham checks in late as the dime back, and now a much different play call. 3rd and 4 at the 27. Elway in the shotgun, Sharp back there to block, comes out of the backfield in motion. Snap back to Elway. Here comes the outside blitz. Elway scampers upfield, breaks a tackle, runs for the first down at the 30, and dives down safely at the 35-yard line.
Well, and they blitzed him again without Howard Griffith in one of those zone blitzes. Two guys, and they should have had John Elway. But John Elway, even though it's his 15th year, and he used to run like Cordell Stewart, he is still a very strong guy in the pocket. Maybe not as fast or as nimble, but hard to sack. He ran right through the corner blitz's tackle, picked up about 8 yards for a first down.
You know, and it is proper to talk with the great excitement about the year Stewart's had, but man, Elway is still as good as there is.
Man, he's had a phenomenal, throwing more touchdown passes than in his career, 27 this year.
On first down, he throws a slant right to Sterling Sharp, who makes the catch in front of Kirkland this time, and pulls the ball up to the 50-yard line for another Denver first down, a gain of 13.
Well, I know Sterling would appreciate that, but Shannon.
I say Sterling?
Yeah,
it was a Sterling catch.
Yeah, it was a Sterling catch.
Thank you very much.
But Shannon
Thank you
Sharp,
for pointing that out.
Remember we had, there was somebody that we talked about those drop passes. Well, Shannon Sharp dropped a bunch of those in their first game, December 7th. Now, it's the 3rd time John Elway's trying to get the ball to Shannon Sharp, and that's the first time they've connected.
Split backs on 1st and 10 at the 50, and a slot on the right. And Elway is blitzed again. Back, good protection. Over the middle, he's got a man at the 40. It is Rod Smith with another first down to the 32 before he is caught from behind by Myron Bell. That's a gain of 17.
You know, Rod Smith is one of those guys I think overlooked in the National Football League, and Brad, you and I have talked about him being, emerging as a real legitimate player. You know, he caught 70 passes, almost 1,200 yards. That time he was the left wide receiver in a square in. The linebackers weren't in the area where John Elway just drilled it right to him for 17 yards in the first.
Now it's Willie Green in for Smith with McCaffrey, and McCaffrey motion left out of the slot. And here's a handoff to Davis coming at left guard, and he only got a yard, and he really ran into a brick wall again. Ball might have come out, and it did come out, and it's recovered by whom? The Steelers say they haven't, but nobody in a striped shirt has pointed to our left yet.
Joel Steed just drilled Terrell Davis, and they will give the ball to Pittsburgh.
A fumble. The Denver Broncos were second in the AFC in turnover ratio plus minus, and the Steelers had more giveaways than all but 3 AFC teams in the league this year in the conference, but it's the Broncos who have turned it over twice today.
Well, remember last week, Terrell Davis fumbled the ball twice, was able to recover them twice, and they said it was because of those rib pads he was wearing. There was no problem with rib pads there. There was a problem with Joel Steed. All 310 pounds of them right in the chest of Terrell Davis, and the ball pops loose.
The Steelers take over at their own 32-yard line in a 7-7 game. 2:28 left in the first. Stewart play action, back to throw, deep ball, right sideline for Thigpen. It's up in the air and knocked down, incomplete. Double coverage, and the help came from Braxton, the safety, over the top. He was the one who got his hand on it.
Yeah, the ball was in the air quite a long time as Cordell Stewart was trying to run it out and up to Yancey Thigpen on the right sideline. Ray Crockett was the corner. He had pretty good coverage, and the safety was able to react to come across the field because the ball was in the air so long. Tyrone Braxton knocks it down. So good coordination between Ray Crockett and Tyrone Braxton.
After this play, I've got a question for you about Cordell Stewart and what he's done this year. 2nd and 10. Lester, the fullback, goes in motion. And Stewart, a short drop, 3 steps deep to the middle. Incomplete for the tight end, Bruner. Badly thrown ball, and actually much closer to Braxton, the safety. Now, Cordell Stewart is only the 5th quarterback in NFL history to lead his team to a conference championship in his first year as a starter. Can you name the other 4?
No.
And how about you out there driving? Can you name the other 4?
Well, keep your hands on the wheel, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We keep one. You can hold up your hand. We'll call on you after this 3rd and 10 play. The Steelers, after the Denver fumble in a 7-7 game at their own 32. Stewart in the shotgun. And back to throw. Here's the blitz. They pick it up. He flips it over the middle. It is caught at the 50-yard line. What a catch that is by Yancey Thigpen.
Yancey Thigpen dropped one, but he's made 2 tough catches since then. That was an 18-yard gain, and the ball was kind of lobbed over the middle. And anytime you lob the ball over the middle against Denver, you know you're going to get whacked by Steve Atwater. But Yancey Thigpen hung on to the ball and was drilled by Thigpen. Now has 2 catches for 38 yards.
The other quarterbacks who have taken their teams to conference championships in their first year as a starter will be identified after this 1st and 10. Pittsburgh at the 50. One setback, that's Bettis. They hand it to him, trying to dance up the middle. He is hit behind the line of scrimmage by a blitzing linebacker, Bill Romanowski. The first one to do it in the post-merger era.
Yes.
Former Dallas Cowboy, Danny White. Who took over for Roger Staubach. Mark Malone, now a broadcaster. These Pittsburgh Steelers in 1984.
There's 50% of them.
Dieter Brock of the Los Angeles Rams.
Los Angeles Rams. Dieter Brock,
And Eric Kramer with the Lions in 91. That's the last time it happened. There is a trivia question that'll win you lunch tomorrow. Now Cordell Stewart added to that list. 2nd and 10. Out of the eye. Play fake. Half roll to the left. Stewart sets. Blitzed. Throws it left. And it is intercepted at the 30, but a late flag. It's not intercepted. It's trapped. And there's a flag. And Stewart hit late by Alfred Williams, but the flag's not there. They say Williams. Stewart really hung himself out to dry. Williams was coming. The flag was down by the receivers like it was a push-off or a hold or something of that nature. And here's Ron Bloom, the referee, to tell us. It's against the Broncos.
And that'll be on Ray Crockett then. He and Yancey Thigpen going at it on both sides of the field.
Illegal contact. Number 39 defense.
That's it. Very good.
5 yards, first down.
Well, that's huge because it was going to be a 3rd and long. But instead, that penalty on Crockett gives Pittsburgh a fresh set of downs at the 45-yard line of the Broncos.
Just kind of continuing the theme on Cordell Stewart, Brad, they talk about, his inexperience in games like this. Game is not too big for Cordell Stewart, this championship game. This guy is a very smart, poised quarterback. This is not a problem. I mean, if they lose, it's not because of his inexperience.
First down, and they'll hand it to Bettis. A huge hole on the left side. He breaks 3 tackles, barrels through a safety, and has it down to the 30. And he comes up waving his arms and shuddering from helmet to waistband. A 15-yard gain for the bus.
He was all aflutter there, wasn't he? But there was a terrific hole on the left side as John Jackson, the left tackle, did a great job. And the poor defensive back who sees him and has to tackle him because he's going to blow right through you there, which he did.
Bettis was 5 carries for 14 yards until that 15-yard run, and this may be the last play of the first quarter. Out of the eye on first down at the Denver 32. Pitch right to Bettis with Lester leading. Bettis with a block from the wide receiver Johnson outside. Has a nice gain down around the 25. The tackle made by Aldridge, and time runs out on the first quarter. We got a great championship game going. It's Denver 7, Pittsburgh 7, and you're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS Radio Sports. Let's coverage of the AFC Championship game is sponsored by NyQuil, by Wheaties, and by American Plastics. With Pat Hayden and our legendary producer, Norman Bear. Brad Sham at Three Rivers Stadium on a beautiful, sunny 38.3 degree afternoon in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
It hasn't moved much.
Not a lot.
It does say 38.3.
Right there on our unofficial booth thermometer.
How does it know?
It's so smart.
Yeah.
It's Hayden-like in its intelligence.
Yeah.
And our statistician, Bob Beeler, passes over the unofficial first quarter statistics, which show the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Denver Broncos pretty even on the stat sheet in many respects. 2nd down and 7 for the Steelers. Now going left to right. There's Stewart with a play fake, half roll, throwing it in the end zone into double coverage, and it's broken up incomplete. Looking for Thigpen. And again, he was bracketed this time by Darian Gordon and Tyrone Braxton.
Well, I'll tell you, the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive game plan clearly has them throwing the ball to Yancey Thigpen, because I don't believe, other than one pass to Courtney Hawkins, they're not really looking for anybody else.
Well, they made a big point during the week, or I should say a big point was made, particularly in the media, of the fact that Darian Gordon was the guy who got burned a lot by Thigpen in the game back in December.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Gave up 3 touchdowns.
That time they were throwing it in. Another time they threw it to him, and Crockett was covering him, so they've switched off a little. But here's a big play. 3rd down 6. Pittsburgh at the Denver 27. Stewart out of the shotgun. A quick screen in the left flat. It is caught at the 30. And Hawkins wrestling down to a first down at the 20-yard line of the Broncos. And that's a marvelous run after the catch by Courtney Hawkins, because he somehow, Pat, got 7 yards that didn't seem to be there.
Yeah, he should have been 2 yards short of a first down. I mean, it was a quick screen. He was in the slot on the left side. He steps back when the ball is snapped, accepts the quick screen pass, and then really ran like a fullback those last 2 or 3 yards to pick up the first down.
He got a great block out in front of him from Brendan Stye, the former Cornhusker, 3rd year at right guard, but he made a lot of it himself as well. And here is the 10th play of the Steeler drive coming up from the Denver 20. Out of the I formation, Johnson in motion to the right, hand off to Bettis at right end behind a Lester block to the 15 and spilled by Crockett at the 14-yard line.
I tell you, Jerome Bettis, for a big guy, just has real soft feet, doesn't he? Just can bounce it around.
I've never felt his feet,
light
actually.
feet. Yeah,
Sorry.
light feet.
Sure,
you know what I'm talking about. Just leave me alone. But that play was designed to go right over DeMonte Dawson, but he just kind of danced and bounced and.
Much as you are right here now.
Here. I'm bouncing and.
Wish for just a brief moment that we were on television.
Yes. Hello.
Here's 2nd down and about 4. Bettis comes in motion out of the backfield left. He turned up too soon, but there's no flag. Stewart throws it in the end zone, incomplete.
Oops, there's a flag.
And the flag is coming against Alfred Williams for hitting Stewart late. I'm telling you, Bettis turned upfield too soon.
You're right. He was moving forward. He was in motion going toward the line of scrimmage. Should have been a penalty. There was not. But they call a late hit on Alfred Williams on Cordell Stewart. Former teammates at the University of Colorado.
Alfred Williams, a guy who was drafted by the Bengals. He's from Houston, but went to Colorado, had a great career there, and played a couple of places before being able to join Denver as a free agent. Said he always wanted to come back to Colorado to play. A little late with that one, and it is 1st and goal, Pittsburgh, at the 7-yard line of Denver. Thigpen comes right, Johnson goes left. They're in an I formation behind Cordell Stewart in a 7-7 game. Handoff, Bettis coming left, avoids a tackle behind the line, cuts back right at the 5, and makes it all the way down around the 2, maybe the 1, before Neil Smith works his way back to make the stop.
Well, not only do we have two great quarterbacks, two great runners, we have two very good offensive lines. I mean, you know, we've talked about Denver's. I think Pittsburgh's offensive line is recognized as one of the best, if not the best, in the National Football League. And, boy, they're doing a good job on this drive. I'm talking about Pittsburgh's offensive line. A very impressive job of holding off the defensive line, and linebackers of Denver allows Jerome Bettis to bring the ball down to the 1.
Steelers go jumbo, 3 tight ends in the I formation, and they give it to Bettis trying to come left, puts his head down behind Brendan Stye. The bus drives into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Well, the first time Denver turned the ball over, they were able to avoid having it come back to hurt them. Not this time.
And that was a really impressive drive. Yancey Thigpen, Cordell Stewart, the offensive line, capped off by a 1-yard run by Jerome Bettis.
For the second time today, or for the first time today, I should say, the Steelers have the lead. The extra point by Norm Johnson is good with 12:42 remaining in the first half. It's Pittsburgh 14 and Denver 7. And you're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS Radio Sports.
Chris Berman again for Wheaties. Now, I don't mean to complain. Fact is,
Jim Hunter. And tomorrow morning, don't forget to eat your Wheaties. It's the breakfast of champions. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers spotted Denver a 7-0 lead. They've scored the last 2 touchdowns as Jerome Bettis, who scored 7 in the regular season, scores his first touchdown of the playoffs. Of course, the Steelers had only the 7 points last week, so they've doubled their scoring output that they had against New England on a much different kind of a day. And Norm Johnson will kick the ball away to Vaughn Hebron. It's a low-line drive kick that hits at the 20, bounces to Hebron at the 10. He brings it back to the 20, comes right 25, and is spilled at the 30. And so the Broncos, who have turned the ball over twice and seen that account for the Steeler lead, will get it back after a 20-yard kickoff return at the Denver 30-yard line.
Well, you know, it's really uncharacteristic of Terrell Davis. The last 2 weeks now, he has dropped the ball 3 times. Against Kansas City, he was able to recover those 2 fumbles, but he was just smacked by Joel Steed, the nose tackle of Pittsburgh, who caused the last fumble.
The Broncos have a touchdown, an interception, and a fumble on their 3 possessions. They come out of the I formation, moving right to left. Elway with play action, back to throw it to the right. Caught. 10-yard gain at the 40-yard line by Rod Smith. In fact, they're going to spot him. I believe they're going to give him that first down. I think forward progress had crossed the 40-yard line. 12 minutes, 17 seconds remaining. The Broncos get 10. And now they're going to hold on, and they're going to, I think they're going to measure.
Well, John Elway, we talked about this being his 15th year in the National Football League, and this is his 16th playoff game. Do you know the only other current quarterback who has started more playoff games?
Current quarterback.
Yeah. More playoff games?
Who has started more playoff games. Is
there an echo in here? I've already asked that question.
Must be. How about Dave Craig?
Absolutely wrong. But good guess. How about Steve Young?
Well, how about Steve Young?
Yeah, 19. Today will be his 19th start.
Well, he'll have that one later on today at the park formerly known as Candlestick.
3-com. All 3 coms to the Matt Miller.
See, I was going for your normal obtuse kind of thing and looking for something kind of veiled and out there.
Curveball.
First down it was for Denver. They go out of an offset eye this time, wing right. And here's Elway with a handoff to Davis. Right guard, pretty good hole across the 45 to the 46. Caught in the secondary by Scott and Holmes.
Terrell Davis is so good, I think, in traffic. You know, he's not as flashy clearly as Barry Sanders, but a remarkable year, was on pace. He actually came off the field, Terrell Davis, for this play. Remember last week when he came off the field, they had trouble holding on to the football. Derek Lavelle did.
2nd and 4 at the Denver 46. A blitz look from the Steelers. One setback. Toss right to Hebron, who has come in for Davis, and he comes around right end for about 3 short of the first down up at the 48-yard line.
Brad, this is an important down for Denver. I mean, they trail 14-7. Yes, it's still here, 11 minutes remaining in the second quarter. But right now, Pittsburgh, I mean, they're on a roll. They've got some offensive momentum going. And I think what you want to do is be able to control the ball now for a while and get yourself back into rhythm. So this 3rd and about 3 is an important play for the Denver Broncos.
Broncos, the highest scoring team in the NFL in the regular season. And the crowd goes nuts on 3rd and a long 2. Elway's in the shotgun. Double slot. Good protection. Throws it left. Caught by Hebron at the 45-yard line of the Steelers for a first down. And then wrestled down by Kirkland and Myron Bell.
So, Von Hebron, ordinarily an I back, kind of a scat back. They lined up as a wide receiver on the left side, and Elway in the shotgun formation just looked to his left immediately. Von Hebron ran a slant route, matched up with Levon Kirkland, all 275 pounds of Levon Kirkland as a linebacker, jumps up and makes a very nice catch. And that's the 5th different receiver Elway has thrown the ball.
And Hebron remains the halfback in a split backfield formation on first down. And back to throw. Elway against a blitz. Throws it left. Incomplete. Rod Smith did not come to the sideline to the ball. And it appeared he and Elway did not make the same adjustment to the defense the Steelers ran.
A few plays ago, Terrell Davis came off. And he was shaking his head. He's always had a problem with migraine headaches. And I don't see him over on the sideline. He's certainly not standing by the coaches.
He's on the sideline. But he's sure not in the football game. The Broncos have a 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. And Elway back to throw, blitz from outside, breaks a tackle and throws the ball away. And there will be no grounding because he got the ball. He was outside the box. But, I mean, there's no way that Elway doesn't get sacked on that play.
Yeah, just, the little things, you add those little things up and you win ball games and potentially you get to a Super Bowl. John Elway should have been stacked by Dante Jones for what? 15-yard loss, 12-yard loss. He's backing up, kind of moving to his left. Should have been knocked, but he is so strong, escapes him, and is able to have enough arm strength to get the ball to the line of scrimmage so there's no intentional grounding.
And now it's 3rd and 10. Elway in the shotgun. Back to throw. Good protection. Deep middle, his man is there. It's caught at the 25-yard line. Rod Smith for another Denver first down.
Well,
remember with the game against Jacksonville in the wild card round, Denver was unconscious on 3rd down. And they're having another good 3rd down afternoon today.
I believe they're 3 of 4 now on 3rd down, Brad. But, the thing, I want you to remember the play by John Elway a moment ago when he avoided a 12 to 15-yard loss. I mean, now they have the ball on Pittsburgh's 25, trailing by 7 points.
It is 1st down and 10, 9:17 remaining in the first half. Elway with a draw to Hebron. At right guard, he is tripped. He gets back up. Maybe he tripped over the 25-yard line. And then he gets back up and starts running, but Levon Kirkland made the stop.
What a game he has had thus far. Levon Kirkland, this first half, has had an interception. I mean, he's defended well a couple of other pass plays to Shannon Sharp. And that time really got Von Hebron before he got started. But tell you, the story right now for the Denver Broncos is Terrell Davis.
He is standing
out of the ball game.
Yeah, he's standing on the sideline with his helmet in his hand in conversation with some teammates. And I don't know why he's out. He must have injured his ribs or something. But it is 2nd down and 10 at the 25. Elway back, blitzed, pressured from outside, throws it to the end zone for Sharp, broken up.
Oh, it's Levon Kirkland again.
All the way down the field with him, Levon Kirkland. 260 pounds, 70 pounds of Levon Kirkland. What an athlete.
He's 274 is his official weight. I think he actually weighs a little bit more than that. But like Jerome Bettis, he is quick on his feet. He had Shannon Sharp right down the middle of the field. Remember, Pittsburgh plays that 34 defense. He's one of the inside guys. But terrific coverage by Levon Kirkland and Shannon Sharp. If you're Mike Shanahan, you say, hey, that's a matchup we want.
Absolutely.
But Levon Kirkland has answered.
What a play by Kirkland. 3rd and 10, Denver at the 25. McCaffrey in motion. Elway in the shotgun. Back to throw. Good protection. Now flips it down in the right flat. Incomplete. Outstanding coverage by the Steelers. Elway was well protected, but he had nowhere to throw the ball. And now the field goal team will come on. Jason Elam and his holder, Tom Ruin.
In this first half, Pittsburgh has gotten some pretty good pressure on John Elway. That time it was just a 3-man rush, and Kevin Henry was the one who got to John Elway.
This ball will be spotted by Ruin at the 33 on the right hash. It's a 43-yard kick. And Elam's got a big leg, but he was only 3 out of 8 in the 40s in the regular year. High snap, good hold. The kick is on the way, a line drive, and he got it from 43 yards. 8:20 remaining to be played in the first half. The score becomes Pittsburgh 14 and Denver 10. And you're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS Radio Sports.
Most cars.
5.7 FM is WLRX. Napanee, Elkhart, Star 96.
Well, Pat Hayden made the point a couple of times before that field goal, but if that 3 points turns out to be crucial, remember John Elway saving the possession by dumping the ball on that blitz by Dante Jones.
By the way, I got a word on Terrell Davis, poked in the eye, expected to return.
Jason Elam's kickoff for the Broncos comes to the 5-yard line to Blackwell, brings it up at the 20, weaves his way through the Broncos to the 30-yard line and spilled there. And so at the 30-yard line, after a 25-yard return, the Steelers have it back, leading 14-10. You're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS Radio Sports.
Nagano Prelude to Glory, brought to you by American Plastics. The gentle American hockey team of the 1952 Winter Games after this for American Plastics.
Okay, folks, it's time for another round of radio riddles. What's thinner than a dime but worth millions in protection? Don't know?
A reminder. The Steelers come back 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. Stewart back to throw. Looks left, spins right, throws a quick screen to Bettis in the right flat at the 25. Puts his head down, breaks a tackle, gets back to the 32-yard line. Alan Aldridge gets him. A complicated reverse fake screen to Bettis, and it didn't get but a couple of yards.
You know, I think Chan Gailey has just done a great job. I think he's the offensive coordinator of the Steelers, not only calling plays, but I think taking advantage of the unique talents of Cordell Stewart. You know, he can do so many different things. And then the pounding that Jerome Bettis gives you, the big plays in the passing game from Yancey Thigpen. He's got some weapons, and he's used all of them this season, and including in this ball game.
2nd and 7, the Steelers go out of the eye. Blitz from the Broncos. Stewart back, deep ball to the middle for Thigpen. He dropped it at the 50-yard line. And that was a tough one because that was a balloon ball. That was a medicine ball because he's going to need medicine after he gets that ball up in the air. 3 white shirts converging on his ribcage.
Yeah,
receivers love to have comments for you after those throws.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Not that you ever threw one.
I wouldn't do that. But, you know, particularly when you know that Steve Atwater's lurking out there somewhere. You know, Steve Atwater's going to drill you. It was a ball thrown high, and that's 2 of those, actually. Cordell Stewart has thrown high to the wide receiver, Yancey Thigpen, and both times Steve Atwater's made him pay.
Out of the shotgun this time, Stewart on 3rd and 7, so McAfee comes into the backfield. Johnson goes in motion from right to left. The snap is back on 3rd and 7. A blitz coming. Stewart's throw down the middle, broken up. Atwater in front of Hawkins to break it up near midfield. And now, for the first time in the game, a drum roll plays, ladies and gentlemen. The punter. In this case, for the Steelers, it's Josh Miller, and he has had a real up-and-down year.
Nothing against Josh, but I love games where we don't see the punters much.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And Miller has had some tough moments, and he kicks to Darian Gordon, who this year became the all-time leading punt returner in NFL history. 3 punt returns for touchdowns this year. A long count and the snap back to Miller. They don't rush the punt, and he gets a high, short kick that Gordon takes. He muffed the punt. It's on the ground and covered by Ray Crockett for Denver at the 25-yard line.
I'll tell you, Denver seems unsettled. A couple of turnovers and a muffed punt.
But the Broncos get it back at their 25. The Steelers lead 14-10 in the middle of the second quarter. And you're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS Radio Sports.
Nagano Prelude to Glory, brought to you by American Plastics. The gentle American hockey team of the 1952 Winter Games.
Well, the Broncos down 14-10, take over at the 25. Terrell Davis back in the football game at tailback. Blitz from the Steelers. Handoff Davis. Spilled by the blitzing safety, Myron Bell, for a 3-yard loss.
Well, you talk about a perfectly timed, strong safety blitz. Pittsburgh had it on there. Remember, Cordell Lake is still playing corner. Myron Bell has played strong safety now for the last 5 or 6 games. Perfectly timed play, and he was unabated to the running back that time.
And that doesn't happen all that often.
No. Chuck Howley couldn't have made a better tackle than that.
Jesse Armstead couldn't have done that one any better. The Pro Bowl linebacker for the New York Giants from Dallas Carter High School. 2nd down and 13. The Broncos are at their 22. Elway in the shotgun, outside blitz, steps up, passes blocked back in his face by Nolan Harrison, who got his second of the day.
That's a rejection. You call that a Tagliabue burger when that thing comes right back at you.
You may.
Yeah. And Nolan Harrison, was double teamed. I'll tell you, it's great effort by Nolan Harrison, because anytime John Elway's throwing the ball, you don't know what's going to happen at the other end. But he has tipped 2 passes that potentially could have been big plays.
14-10, the Steelers lead. Denver with a 3rd down and 14. At its own 22, Elway in the shotgun. They're awfully strong on 3rd down. And Elway, good protection, throws it left sideline, knocked down. And a flag, and another flag. And yet another flag.
That makes
at
2,
the 35-yard line. Willie Green, the intended receiver, and Cordell Lake may have gotten there a little early. Conversation ensues between most of the officials.
Among most of the officials.
You sure?
Oh, yeah. Two people's between. More than 2, it's among.
All right.
Just,
All right, fine.
I just wanted to know. Don't get hypersensitive on me.
Illegal formation, 77 offense was not lined up on the line of scrimmage. Pass interference, 27 defense. Those penalties offset.
Ooh.
3rd down.
Ooh.
Break really for Pittsburgh.
Boy, I guess so, because the Broncos would have had a 1st down on that Cordell Lake pass interference, but Tony Jones was not covered up. And so it'll be 3rd down and 14 again. It's a terrible blow for the Denver Broncos.
The Broncos have had some success with Rod Smith running deep square in routes.
Again, it's Elway in the shotgun. And here's the blitz coming up the middle and outside, and Elway is grabbed and sacked by the safety, Myron Bell, all the way back at the 14-yard line.
First sack for either team there, but Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator of Pittsburgh, Brad, remember he said to us before the game, when the Denver Broncos get in that spread formation, they take Howard Griffith, their fullback, out, who's a good pass protector. We're coming after John Elway. We're going to blitz him, and they have. And Elway's avoided a couple of sacks, 2 or 3, but that time Myron Bell, the strong safety on a blitz, gets him.
The rookie Will Blackwell near midfield to take the first punt of the day from Denver's Tom Ruin. And field position is a huge swing here. Ruin with a great kick. Blackwell takes it at his 37 and comes right to the 40. Now left at the 45. Still on his feet. Look out. Midfield with a sideline seam to the 44-yard line of the Denver Broncos. Before John Mobley catches it. Back upfield, a flag near the line of scrimmage. It is a face mask against the Broncos. And if it is post kick, then they'll tag it on to the return. Again, our referee, Ron Bloom. He's going to call over another of the officials. Bill Cowher out on the field, as is his custom, to get an explanation.
And Alfred Williams, one of the Denver Broncos, doesn't particularly like Bill Cowher being on the field much, does he?
No, there was a lot of conversation about that during the field. Cowher says, we'll turn this penalty down because it must not.
15-yard fake pass penalty. Number 89 to the kicking team. That penalty is declined. 1st down, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's because it was not a post-possession foul, so rather than assess it and make him kick deeper, Cowher says, I'll take my chances at the 44-yard line. You're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS Radio Sport. It's prohibited.
Name 3 other things you'd use the broadcast for, or rebroadcast for.
Well, of course, I wouldn't because it's prohibited.
It's prohibited.
Never occurred to me. Yeah. The Steelers in great shape at the Denver 43 after the punt. And they start with one setback. And Stewart back to throw. Flags go down. His pass incomplete on the right sideline for Thigpen.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers certainly have the better of the field position battle, right? The second time they've started a series in Denver territory.
The other time, the first possession for them of the game, and they missed a field goal. Now the penalty to be announced by Ron Blum. Ooh, boy. Another Denver penalty. Mike Lodish, the veteran defensive tackle, jumped offside. By the way, working with Ron Blum today, Bob Boylston is the umpire, Mark Balch the headlinesman, Ron Winter is the line judge, back judge Bill Lovett, the side judge Dave Wyant, the field judge is Don Hakes. It is 1st and 5. Pittsburgh at the 38-yard line of Denver. I formation. Johnson in motion. Handoff. Bettis straight up the middle for 3. Maybe 4.
Well, 5:20 remaining in the first half. Pittsburgh up 14-10 over Denver. In Pittsburgh, really offensively, we've seen a lot of Jerome Bettis, Cordell Stewart, a 33-yard touchdown run. And in the passing game, they're throwing the ball to Yancey Thigpen. Now, he's dropped a couple, but he's made a couple of long catches.
Bettis with that 4-yard gain sets him up with a great down, 2nd down and 1. Bettis with 49 yards on 11 carries. In the eye, with 4:53 remaining in the first half, the Steelers 2nd down, play fake, half roll right by Stewart. Pump, looking deep for Thigpen into triple coverage. It is intercepted in the end zone by Steve Atwater for a touchback. Crockett got the pick. That was not a smart decision by Cordell Stewart.
It was a terrible decision by Cordell Stewart. You know, Yancey Thigpen is an athletic guy that jumps up in the crowd, makes a lot of catches. But when you have two guys back there, Ray Crockett and Steve Atwater, and it wasn't a difficult play. Steve Atwater, I thought, intercepted it first, and then Ray Crockett took it away from him, Brad.
And they both had a better shot at it than Yancey Thigpen.
Absolutely. A poor decision in a championship game. Your team is leading by 4 points, and they were in field goal range at the time.
I'm giving that to Atwater.
Okay, go ahead.
And then and Crockett, you're right, took it away from him. So there's the first turnover of the game by the Steelers, and the Broncos take over at the 20-yard line. Blitz look, split backs, both receivers go right. And Elway changes the play as the Steelers show blitz. So this is an audible. And Elway back to throw with great protection over the middle. Smith open at the 30. Inside of Carnell Lake and up to the 37-yard line before Lake catches it.
Rod Smith has had, I think that's his 4th catch of the ball game thus far for 57 yards, all in those square ends. I mean, Denver has something going with Rod Smith running square end routes. That one was on Carnell Lake. He went from left to right, and he's done on the other side as well.
4 catches for 57 yards after that 12-yard gain. I formation this time for the Broncos, who trail 14-10 in the second quarter. Elway with a draw to Davis coming at right tackle, and he is handled at the line of scrimmage. A nifty stop by Earl Holmes, and we'll talk about him some more because, as you pointed out earlier, Pat, Mike Archer was really bragging on him. And what a great job Archer and Cower, the head coach, have done over the last 2 years, replacing a tremendous amount of linebacker talent.
Yeah, linebacker talent and defensive backfield talent. You know, they lost 3 corners, including Rod Woodson.
Willie Williams went to Seattle.
Was another one. And Deion Figures they lost. You know, Chad Brown, the linebacker you mentioned, and Greg Lloyd injured, not able to play.
Kevin Green. 2nd down and 9 for the Broncos. Split backs. Elway back to throw. Great block from his right tackle. Scampers out right, chased by Kirkland. Dumps it underneath Griffith, the fullback. 1st down across the 45. And brought down in bounds by Earl Holmes, but what a nifty play by Elway again.
Yeah, and Howard Griffith, you know, one of those guys you don't really notice unless you're one of his teammates, Brad. He's the fullback for the Denver Broncos.
I noticed it. He was number 29.
Yeah, you did your work, your homework.
Thank you.
But, you know, when Terrell Davis rushes for over 1,700 yards, it means, A, you have a pretty good offensive line, but a great lead back.
Right.
And that time, John Elway was in trouble scrambling around, and but finds Howard Griffith for the 1st down.
1st down, Denver at the 45. 2:42 left in the half. Blitz is threatened by the safety, and here he comes. Elway back. Great protection. Throws it out for Sharp. Caught it at the 40. Backpedaling. And brought the ball in and controlled it as he's wrapped up at around the 35 or 6-yard line. They'll spot it at the 37. 2:25 and the clock running a gain of 18.
Well, that time Shannon Sharp was not matched up on Levon Kirkland, who's covered him very well. He was matched up on Earl Holmes. And Earl Holmes, although he was close to him, didn't have him covered like certainly Kirkland did earlier in the ball game. And then John Elway finds him for another first down.
And that's going to bring us to the 2-minute warning. Denver, who had more first downs than any other team this year, has 12 this game. 9 of them have come by a pass thrown by John Elway. The 2-minute warning with Pittsburgh leading 14-10. Listening to CBS Radio Sports, the exclusive radio network of the 1998 Winter Olympics. Share a moment with the world when the Olympic torch travels to Japan.
Well, 2 minutes left, Brad. Pittsburgh up 14-10. I think one of the things that's happened in this first half is that John Elway has avoided about 3 sacks. But I think at halftime, Denver's going to have to find a way to protect him better.
Yep.
And particularly in the spread offense.
First down and 10. Denver at the Pittsburgh 37, trailing 14-10. Offset I-wing right. Play fake by Elway. Half roll to the right. Chased from behind. Throws down the field to the right sideline. Incomplete. And a late flag.
Boy.
He was looking for Rod Smith, who was double covered around the 15. That's where the flag came. And we've got a push-off against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And that was a ball that John Elway, I think, was really just throwing
it away. That's what I think.
And they're going to call a penalty on Chad Scott on Rod Smith.
Now there's a big break for Denver.
30 defense. First down, Denver.
This game, you'll look at perhaps John Elway's first half statistics and say they were very average, certainly for John Elway. But he has done some remarkable things, particularly avoiding sacks, really by primarily his strength. But that was a strange play as he was just trying to throw the ball away.
The crowd boos the replay on the big screen. It's 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line of Pittsburgh. Elway with a play fake, back to throw in the left flat. Griffith a one-handed catch to the 10, to the 5, to the goal line, and steps out. Touchdown! Touchdown, Denver Broncos.
What a
one-handed catch by Howard Griffith, the fullback.
Well, just talk on this drive. He's made 2 great catches, but he was in the left flat. The ball was thrown behind him. He had to really kind of turn all the way around, catches the ball with one hand, and then goes into the end zone. That was a 15-yard play, and he had 2 catches for 26 yards on that drive. What a remarkable play by Howard Griffith.
Griffith didn't catch a touchdown pass all year, but he's just given the Broncos the lead. Elam for the extra point. The kick is good with 1:47 remaining to be played in the half. And Denver now takes the lead by a score of 17-14. And you're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS Radio Sports.
Have you seen that commercial where the guys are like welders and taxi drivers and accountants, and they're all named James Redhead Empire? A new chapter in Playboy's history of the sexual revolution and more. Best of all, if your name is James Bond, the February issue of Playboy is free. Don't miss this great Playboy, available on newsstands now. And I was kidding about the free part.
Well, the Denver Broncos, who led 7-0, then saw the Steelers score the next 2 touchdowns, have the last 10 points. The field goal by Elam that brought it to 14-10. Now this touchdown, and here's Elam's kick. And Blackwell, the deep man, all the way into the end zone, 3 yards deep, will down the ball. A terrific kickoff by Elam. There will be no run back, and the Steelers will be at their 20-yard line. Let's talk a little bit more about Howard Griffith. Because you bragged on him with such good reason in that drive with the 2 big catches and his blocking. And, he's not one of those guys who has been a high-profile player. But he was the fullback for the Carolina Panthers a year ago, and they were in the NFC Championship game. And now Griffith leaves as a free agent, one of the first guys the Broncos went after, and now they're in the championship game.
Underappreciated by most fans, but I think certainly not by Terrell Davis and certainly not by Mike Shanahan.
Well, the Steelers will start at their 20 in the 2-minute offense with Stewart in the shotgun. Here's the blitz. And Stewart hit as he throws it over the middle, incomplete. And he was belted. He was really unloaded on. I think Neil Smith got him because they not only blitzed, but looked like they ran a game inside.
Yeah, absolutely. And Neil Smith has come on. He's finally healthy. Greg Robinson, defensive coordinator, was saying right before the game that, hey, Neil Smith and Alfred Williams, our defensive ends, are healthy as they've been in a long time, and they played exceptionally well last week against Kansas City.
2nd down, 10. And Stewart back in the shotgun. 17-14 Denver. Nearing halftime in the AFC Championship. Back goes Stewart to throw. Good protection. Deep ball to the middle. Johnson caught it behind him at the 35-yard line. and then spins away to the 38 before brought down by Darius Johnson. But a flag back upfield.
It's a holding call on Neil Smith, I believe, was held.
Well, Smith, the only member of the Denver defense going to the Pro Bowl this year, has had a very strong playoffs.
Holding 73 offense, 10 yards, repeat second down.
Justin Strelzik, the veteran tackle. Not many Maine Black Bears in the NFL, but Justin Strelzik is one.
Are there others? You're not certain of that.
I don't know that there
down
aren't.
that path, you should have that answer.
I made a correct statement that there are not many Maine Black Bears. I don't know that there are no others, nor do you.
I don't.
Second down, and they run a shotgun draw. They hand it off to McAfee, who brings it back to the 20-yard line. And he's stopped with 1:28 remaining. 1:27.
Well, Denver ought to think about using a timeout.
They really should.
It's 3rd and 10, and they have 2 timeouts remaining. I believe they should call a timeout. There's 1:15 remaining in the first half. Pittsburgh trails by 3.
Well, I really agree with you. 3rd down and 8. Now we're going to have 1 minute remaining. And Stewart taking his time. First, they better think about a stop. Blitz look. They're showing blitz in the gaps, and here they come. Stewart hit as he throws the ball out, incomplete. That time they brought the nickel back in a hurry. And Randy Hilliard came up and got to him, and the Steelers are going to punt it away with 55 seconds left.
The Broncos lost about 25 seconds remaining, but I guess with John Elway at the helm, you don't need much time. They have 55 seconds remaining. They have 2 timeouts, and Denver leads 17-14, and you're punting the ball to Darian Gordon. His last punt return, he bounced off his face mask, but still, as you mentioned, Brad, 3 punt returns for touchdowns this year.
Josh Miller will kick it away from around his own 10, and the Broncos have a chance for good field position. Gordon up near the 40-yard line. And a good snap back to Miller. No rush of the punt, and he gets a beauty away. Gordon pushed all the way back to the 25. Now right at the 30. The 35 across the 40 to the 45-yard line. And Denver has good field position at its 47 with 43 seconds remaining to be played.
Yeah, and just need about 25 yards, Brad, to get themselves in reasonably good field position. 2 timeouts remaining, and John Elway, as good as, certainly as anybody. I mean, Joe Montana, awfully good in the 2-minute drill. Roger Staubach in my memory, but I tell you, John Elway has just been absolutely phenomenal in situations like this.
An 18-yard punt return for Darian Gordon, and the Broncos will start at the 46. And they have 2 of their timeouts remaining and a 3-point lead. And the Steeler crowd getting into it. 43 seconds left. Elway is in the shotgun. On first down, the snap back. Great protection. Pump. Deep ball left side for Smith. He's bumped. And the pass is incomplete. But the flag is down. Carnell Lake bumped him with the ball in the air at the 20. And that's where the Broncos are going to be. A critical penalty against the Steelers.
Really a good call by Mike Shanahan and Gary Kubiak, the offensive coordinator. Most time in those 40 seconds, you kind of dink and you dunk and you hope to get in field goal range. They go in deep.
First down.
And that was an easy one to see. That was right out there in front of everybody.
Well,
you like it better than some other Rod Smiths?
Yeah. Thank you for putting that out. But I tell you, this guy is so good. Yeah, thank you. Is so good over the middle of the field, and that time on a real deep play, really got tangled up with Carnell Lake for the easy pass interference call.
First down at the 20, 37 seconds remaining. Elway under center. Pitch right to Davis. Cuts it up at the 20, to the 15, to the 10-yard line, and Keevan Henry from behind drags him down. 28 seconds, and Denver now uses one of those 2 timeouts with 27 seconds remaining. You're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS Radio Sports.
5.7 FM is WLRX, Napanee, Warsaw, Star 96.
It's a slightly chilly, sunny, perfect football day in Pittsburgh with Pat Hayden. I'm Brad Sham. Denver leading 17-14 with a first down at the 10-yard line of the Steelers and 29 seconds remaining in the half. Elway under center. Here's the blitz. Elway back, throws it out right. McCaffrey at the 5. Reaches out for the pylon.
Should be a touch.
And he is forced out of bounds. They say he had leaned out of bounds before he got the ball. down inside the pylon in the right front corner of the end zone.
Well, the ball certainly crossed the goal line. Where was his feet when that happened? I mean, we'll get a chance to look at a replay in our monitor up here, but the ball had crossed the goal line.
It is 2nd down and goal from the 1. 24 seconds remaining in the half. Denver looking to expand a 3-point lead. They go out of the I formation. Elway brings McCaffrey in motion left to right. Elway with a handoff to Davis, sticks his head down at the goal line, and he appears to have been stopped short of the plane of the goal.
I saw the replay. I thought McCaffrey was in. I really do. Now, there's 16 seconds remaining in this ball game. First half. Denver up 17-14, but, it forced Denver to use their last timeout.
Well, that pretty well means that on this 2nd down and goal, they've got to roll out. They can't just.
You would take a risk, but
you run the risk of not getting the field goal team on if you run.
But look, we have a chance to look at the replay again of McCaffrey's play. See, as we look at it, I believe that's a touchdown. It's just the front part of the end. As soon as
very close to whether his right knee had actually touched down across the sideline before he put the ball down, or his right hand. I think you're right.
Yeah, that's a touch.
I think you're right.
And that will be if they don't score, a very, very controversial play. As Ed McCaffrey caught a ball on the right flat, leans the ball into the end zone, and the end zone starts at the beginning of that white line. At the very beginning of the white line. Right. You don't have to get all the way across the white line. Should have been a touchdown.
This play call is pretty interesting. It is 3rd down and goal from the 1-yard line with 16 seconds. No timeouts. Split backs. Elway back to throw it in the right side of the end zone. Easy touchdown for McCaffrey. A windmill spike for McCaffrey. And all the conversation, like Pat Hayden, is academic.
Absolutely. Thank you. But, good call. You had it right. A rollout to the right by John Elway. And once again, his most dependable receiver, Ed McCaffrey, although Rod Smith has been terrific in this ball game. He rolls out to his right. Got a good lead block by you-know-who, Howard Griffith. Kept the rushers away from John Elway. And Ed McCaffrey in the right part of the end zone. Easy catch for the touch.
Jason Elam's extra point is up and good, and with 13 seconds remaining until halftime, the Denver Broncos have taken a road 24-14 lead over the Pittsburgh Steelers.
A team that gets discouraged. As a matter of fact, against Denver, they were down 21-7.
That's my point that I was going to make. The one team that won't take a 10-point lead for granted is the Denver Broncos that blew a 14-point lead here just a month ago.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh has done it over and over again this year. And Cordell Stewart, whose numbers in the first half are not particularly good, he's the kind of guy that seems to play exceptionally well in the second half. He's only 6 of 16 for 70 yards in the first half. But, boy, he can come back and haunt you. As you mentioned, down 21-7 against the Broncos. He ended up accounting for 5 touchdowns. 3 passing, 2 running.
And he's done that twice this year. And you know what? That's probably why both these teams are in the championship game. What do you think?
It's a good ball game, and I think we're going to have a really good second half.
Me too. Elam to kick off with 13 seconds left, and we'll see what strategy Mike Shanahan and the Broncos employ on the kick with Blackwell deep. And they squib it. A line drive up the middle that is handled at the 32.
And they're going to get reasonable field position.
Yeah, they did. Whitman, the fullback, brought it up across the 40 to the 42-yard line. That wasn't quite a good enough squib.
Now, with 9 seconds remaining, the ball on the 42, I think Cordell Stewart, you can get a pass play, potentially, or even better, a pass interference play, because it would stop the clock.
See, and that pass interference, remember the big call on Lake a moment ago that set up that last Denver touchdown. So if you're Denver, you really have to be careful. That special teams play, the kicking game, it just gets so overlooked. Everybody says, well, let's get some popcorn and be back for first down. But,
Brad, special teams should win you 2 ball games a year. Of course, you can lose a couple of games if you play poorly.
9 seconds left as the Steelers start at the 43, and Stewart out of the shotgun. Only a 3-man rush. He's got a day and a half. Heaves a high pop fly down the right sideline into a crowd. It is swatted up in the air, intercepted by Braxton on a deflection. And the Broncos run out the clock on the Braxton interception at the 20-yard line and take a lead to the dressing room. Our score at halftime is sponsored by 4 Points Hotels by Sheraton. At halftime, the score is Denver 24, Pittsburgh 14. 4 Points Hotels by Sheraton, your teammate on the road. You're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS Radio Sports. AFC.
Get back to Pittsburgh and rejoin Brad Sham with Pat Hayden. Brad?
All right, Jim, thank you. And the Heat sure start of the second half is sponsored by Heat. Gasline antifreeze. Heat happens in winter. It is 24-14 Denver, and the Broncos 30 minutes away from becoming only the 5th wild card team ever to advance to the Super Bowl.
Well, there's a lot to be happening.
A lot between now and then.
This game is clearly not decided because of the way Pittsburgh has played in the second half. Dramatically better in the second half, and Cordell Stewart's going to have to play better. He's only 6 of 17 for 69 yards in the first half.
The Steelers will have the ball first, and Jason Elam's kick is very short. Blackwell up to the 12, brings it right at the 20 and loses his footing and slides down at the 21, and the Steelers will put it in play there. And what do you have, Mr. Interlocutor, for the halftime statistical notes?
Well, I gave you Cordell's numbers. It's 6 of 17 for 69 yards, 2 interceptions. One was at the end of the half, so that didn't really count, I guess. Yancey Thigpen, the best guy named Yancey playing this ball game, has 2 catches for 38 yards. Jerome Bettis, 49 yards and 11 carries. Now, Terrell Davis had a big first half, 73 yards on 12 carries. Remember, he had one 44-yard run. And Elway, 13 of 20 for 2 touchdowns.
And the Steelers down 10 start the second half at the 21 in the I formation. Charles Johnson in motion. They hand the ball off to Bettis. Little cutback at left guard, 2 yards. Up around the 24, maybe 3. Ma'atanuvasa makes the stop.
You know, two games in a row now. The Patriots last week in Denver in the first half, they did a pretty good job with Jerome Bettis. I mean, he only had 67 yards last week against the Patriots. And as I said in the first half, the Denver defense did a pretty good job against Jerome Bettis.
Offset eye now with Lester coming in motion on second down and close to 8. Stewart, 3-step drop, looking left, throws it over the middle. Thigpen pulls it off his hip up to the 45, breaks 3 tackles, still going. 5 white shirts around him at the 50. And a rugby scrub to the 48-yard line of the Denver Broncos.
What great effort by Yancey Thigpen. Left wide receiver, slant route. They threw the ball on him. It was a 28-yard gain, but I think the catch was only at about 15 yards. And all the rest, he was bouncing off defenders, including Steve Atwater, broke his tackle, broke Tyrone Braxton's tackle. And then, as you said, it looked like a rugby scrum. Pushed 4, 5, 6 Denver Broncos an additional 2 or 3 yards. So that will get your teammates fired up.
Thigpen has 3 catches for 66 yards. 6th year out of Winston-Salem State, came into the league as a free agent. First down, Pittsburgh near midfield, out of the eye. Handoff Bettis, left guard, churning. Romanowski on top. And Mobley and the defensive tackle, Trailer rather, at the bottom of the stack. And they get him after a gain of a couple. Well, actually, they're going to give him quite a good lean. About 4.5 yards all the way down around the 44.
Well, the opening drive of each half generally kind of sets the tone for the rest of the half, with Pittsburgh trailing by 10 points and this being their opening drive of the second half. This is an important one for them. It's a tone setter.
Courtney Hawkins comes in as they go 3 wides on second down, 5 at the 44, and Johnson motion to the left. Stewart back 3 steps, looks left, pass blocked it by Trailer at the line of scrimmage. Keith Trailer up off the block of John Jackson.
Yeah, that thing was rejected. Cordell Stewart's thrown a couple of balls high because of people rushing him and at his feet. That time, as he rolled to his left, looked like he had a receiver open in the flat, but Keith Trailer, who's been a real good run stopper, timed his jump perfectly and knocks it down with his right hand.
Broncos go to their nickel where Trailer and Aldridge and Mobley leave. They bring Randy Hilliard into the slot. And Stewart in the shotgun on 3rd and 5 at the Denver 44 on the opening third quarter possession. Blitz look. And here they come after Stewart. They pick up the blitz. He's got time. He throws it over the middle, and it's caught at the 33-yard line by Yancey Thigpen again, and another acrobatic catch, Pat, because one thing that still separates Stewart from some of the more experienced guys, some quarterbacks will put the ball right between the numbers or right on the hands, and Stewart will get the ball in the area.
Yeah.
But the receiver's got to do some work there.
Right, the accuracy was a question mark, but that thing was clearly catchable. Yancey Thigpen at, a little over 6'1", extends that strike zone. Pretty good target for Cordell Stewart. But I'll tell you, Denver better find a way to slow down Yancey Thigpen.
1st and 10 at the Denver 33. Out of the eye, handoff. Bettis coming left at guard. He cuts it back, a big hole into the middle of the 20, and he's dragged down at around the 17-yard line of the Denver Broncos. Atwater gets him.
The Pittsburgh Steelers opening drive in the second half have it going. Cordell Stewart delivering the ball. Yancey Thigpen making great catches. And Jerome Bettis back to his power. I mean, he looked like the bus on that run. That was the 17-yard gain by Bettis, his longest run by far of the day.
And after a drive that looked like it had stalled, boy, oh boy, have the Steelers given themselves some life. 1st and 10 at the Denver 17, out of the eye. Johnson motion left to right. Stewart with a handoff to Bettis up the middle, and Alfred Williams slices in from defensive end, reaches up from behind, and gets Bettis for a gain of a yard at the most.
Well, 15 carries, 74 yards now for Jerome Bettis. But this drive, he's been very, very productive. 4 carries for 25 yards.
24-14. Denver scored first. They led 7-0. The Steelers scored the next 2 touchdowns. Then the Broncos had the next 2 touchdowns and a field goal. But the Steelers are threatening. 2nd and 10 at the 17. Offset eye. Broncos appear to jump. There go the flags. Free play. Pass out to the 10. Caught by Thigpen. There's another flag on the right side. I don't know if we got different infractions. We sure got offside.
One thing I would do if I were Denver is sure rotate my coverage over to Yancey Thigpen's side.
Yeah.
I mean, he has been open. Now, he's dropped a couple balls, but he has been open every time they've chosen to throw the ball to him.
Well, apparently both flags were for the same offside against the Broncos. And so the Steelers will talk about whether they want the yards or the penalty. Still early in the opening possession of the third quarter.
Offside. 98 defense. 5 yards. Repeat second down.
Tanuvasa called offside for Denver.
Yancey Thigpen, 8 catches on the day now.
Wow.
Check that. Actually, it's 5 catches on the day for 86 yards, but he doesn't have 3 catches on this drive.
And here comes 2nd and 5. Pittsburgh at the 12-yard line of the Broncos. I formation. Johnson motion left to right. And Stewart with a pitch right to Bettis with Lester in front. Trying to pick his way and has trouble doing so. Down around the 10, around the 8. He got about 3 or 4 yards. And he's close to the first down. I think he's a little shy of it. Mobley and Romanowski make the tackle. Thigpen had 1 double-figure receiving day during the year, an 11-catch game against Jacksonville. In the middle of the year, there is an injured Bronco, and that is Neil Smith, and they don't want to be losing him. So timeout on the field while they look at Neil Smith. It's 24-14 Denver, and you're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS Radio Sports.
Buying a new car? No doubt you're caught up in a frenzy of options. To sunroof or not to sunroof, a spoiler perhaps.
Line antifreeze. Heat happens in winter. 3rd down and 2 for the Steelers at the Denver 9. Harold Hasselbach has replaced Neil Smith at defensive end.
3rd down and 2 at the 9.
And there goes Thigpen wide to the right. Johnson's in a slot on the left, and Hawkins is split wide. Bettis behind Stewart on 3rd down and 2. First down could come across the 7. And Stewart will give it to Bettis straight up the middle. Boom to the 5. 1st down and goal. Hey, that man is a load, isn't he? Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
95.7 FM is WLRX. Napanee, Elkhart, Star 96.
Well, Neil Smith appears to be all right. He's on the sideline for the Broncos, but here come the Steelers 1st and goal. Wouldn't want to get Jerome Bettis' way, would you?
No. Here or anywhere.
Out of the eye with Johnson in motion again. A run blitz. They hand it to Bettis coming right from behind Aldridge, the middle linebacker. Great penetration on the run blitz. And he gets Bettis at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and goal. Hasselbach also in on the tackle.
Yeah, good play by Alan Aldridge, the middle linebacker, who kind of ran around the play, came in from the backside to get Jerome Bettis. Bettis never saw him and got him really started before he had a chance to get going.
An 82-yard drive for the Busts today on 18 carries. It is 2nd and goal at the 5 with Denver leading by 10 near the middle of the 3rd quarter. And Stewart with split backs, back to throw, looks into the end zone. The pass is picked off by Steve Atwater in the middle of the end zone, by Aldridge. 57 instead of 27 in the middle of the end zone. Alan Aldridge, and Stewart has been intercepted in the end zone for the 2nd time today.
After 3 interceptions on the day, one was at the end of the first half, which really don't count, but 2 in the end zone.
It is 24-14 Denver, and you're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS Radio Sports.
Your average defensive tackle weighs 290 pounds and rushes the quarterback with all the sensitivity of a runaway freight train. Fortunately, shoulder pads and helmets are standard equipment, just like 4 Points Hotels by Sheraton, where the equipment your average business traveler...
And 82, watching the Steelers being turned aside at the lip of the cup again. And after the touchback, John Elway brings the Broncos out, moving from left to right. Hand off Terrell Davis. Big hole at left tackle across the 25, up near the 28-yard line. 8.5 before Levon Kirkland gets him.
Well, 8 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter, and Denver up 24-14. And yes, Cordell Stewart has not played particularly well in the passing game, at least. He's 8 of 21, 109 yards and 3 interceptions. However, again, I think he has the unique, I don't think, he does have the unique capability of really turning it on and playing spectacularly.
There's no question about that. Yeah. But he has made a couple of poor decisions today.
The last one was the worst, the last interception.
2nd and 1 for Denver after a 9-yard gain, and they give it to Davis again. Coming around left end, 1st down, left sideline, 40. And to the 45-yard line before he is caught from behind by Myron Bell, the strong safety.
Well, he is getting close to Terrell Davis to 100 yards.
And again, the Steelers haven't had a back gain 100 on them in any game this year.
Well, I think he has 107 right now.
Well, he's going to have several negative plays to...
or one. You can have one for
one huge one, yeah. Trying to think what kind of a running play Terrell Davis would execute that would be for a minus
that's
8.
The thing about Terrell Davis. There are not many negative runs in that man.
1st and 10 at the 45 of Denver. The fullback in motion. A draw to Davis. Forward at left guard, 2 yards.
Yeah, boy, I tell you, Denver is just... They're not nearly as effective running the ball when they run it straight ahead right at Joel Steed, the nose tackle. When they have been successful with Terrell Davis is where he's kind of running off tackle, and particularly to their left side. He had the big 44-yard run in the 1st quarter on the left side, but now 15 carries, 105 yards for Terrell Davis, who's had one magnificent year.
And it's still going. 2nd and 8, Denver at the 47 after intercepting a Pittsburgh pass in the end zone. 2 tight ends set in front of Davis. And Elway back to throw, well protected, a 4-man rush. He throws it deep middle. There's his man short. Boy, he had Sharp down the hash. And that time, Kirkland deep in coverage, but Shannon Sharp had gotten about 5 strides behind him, and Elway missed a little with the throw.
Yeah, John Elway generally has so much zip on his throw. That ball just didn't have enough juice on it to get to Shannon Sharp. He was down about 45 yards downfield. Elway tried to throw a line drive pass, a fastball past Levon Kirkland, but just didn't have enough on it.
So now it is 3rd and 8. And Elway in the shotgun, see if they bring the blitz. 4-man rush with a blitz. The pass is out to midfield, and a bobbling catch close to a 1st down by Rod Smith. A remarkable catch, which he got on his hip, bobbled it forward, and collected the ball in right near the 1st down marker.
I'm not so sure he was bobbling as much as he was trying to put it forward past the marker.
You think he was lunging?
Yeah, I think he was going to be about a yard short of the 1st down marker. But Rod Smith, and then they're going to measure, he has had a terrific day.
5th catch for Rod Smith. The stretch of the chains shows First down, Denver by the length of the football.
What a play by Rod Smith. And Denver on third down. You mentioned how good they've been on third down.
Yeah, what are they today?
They are 6 of 8 on third down today.
I'll have to go back and look where they were against Jacksonville, but I remember just being astounded. And it didn't matter what they did. It wasn't 3rd and 1 either all the time.
And remember how good Pittsburgh's defense is.
So here's 1st and 10 at the Steeler 45. I formation behind Elway, and they run a draw to Davis. And it's a little plunge for almost nothing between the center and the left guard. And you see them run a couple of plays like this, and then you say, boy, Denver could make a mistake by going into a shell with a 10-point lead with 5 minutes left in the third quarter, and then they just somehow find a way to make another first down.
I think when you hand the ball to Terrell Davis, you're not going into a shell.
Going into a shell.
Yeah, I mean, but you're right. I think teams have to guard against it. I don't think Denver is that kind of team, and as explosive as Terrell Davis is, you can give the ball to him on 3rd and 10, and he can still pick up a first down for you.
It's 2nd and 9, offset I, wing left, pitch left to Davis with Griffith pulling. Davis looking for the corner, turns it, and has almost 5 down around the 40. Dante Jones runs him out of bounds. The clock stops with 4:55 left in the third quarter. Now they're going to wind it and go again. And it'll be 3rd down and pretty close to 5 at the 40-yard line of the Steelers.
Well, I tell you, years ago, I'm talking about 7, 8 years ago, this is an unbelievable circumstance where John Elway would run a quarterback draw. Well, I say Earl Holmes is down for the Pittsburgh Steelers on the sideline.
That would be a terrible loss. The young man has had a great year at linebacker. 4:40 left, third quarter, 24-14 Denver. Stay tuned to CBS Radio after this game for the NFC title matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. 3:45 Eastern Time airtime, and then 2 weeks from today, of course, CBS Radio will bring you the Super Bowl from Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego.
It's right down the road from
3Com Park, where the NFC Championship game will be played today.
That's a lot of comms.
An uncommon amount of comms. 3rd down and 7. Denver at the Pittsburgh 42 with a 10-point lead. And a blitz look. Hebron in the shotgun set with Elway in the gun. Snap is back. Blitz comes. Pass over the middle, incomplete for McCaffrey. A quick slant, and McCaffrey couldn't get there in time. Elway had to hurry with Lake coming on the corner blitz. And on 4th down, Ruin will come in, and here's where field position can become big. The Broncos need a punt inside the 10-yard line.
Just what I was saying. If Ruin punts this ball in the end zone, I mean, that would be a major error. And by the way, that was a big 3rd down stop for Pittsburgh's defense as they trail by 10 with 4:11 remaining in the third quarter.
Just the 2nd punt of the day for Tom Ruin, the former Colorado Buffalo. And they put a little rush on this punt. He hangs it up high beautifully. This is nice kick. The ball hits at the 30, takes a Steeler roll back up to the 32.
8-yard punt? It's 8 yards?
Not a 10-yard punt. Well, he had the right idea, but he didn't get it downfield enough. And so the Steelers take over at their own 32-yard line, down by 10 with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. And you're listening to the AFC Championship game on listening to CBS Radio Sports, the exclusive radio network of the 1998 Winter Olympics. Share a moment with the world when the Olympic torch travels to Japan.
Now, you'll be sharing, several weeks?
Several moments.
In Nagano.
Several moments.
And you'll be covering...
Right near beautiful downtown Nagano.
Good.
I'll be covering everything.
The luge and...
Everything. Snowboarding.
Yes, that's good.
I got the whole...
Have fun.
The curling exhibitions, I got them all.
Well, I'll be... share a few moments with me, would you?
I will. 1st and 10, the Steelers take over at their 32. Out of the eye, handoff, Bettis coming right. Slices through the secondary. And he's got about an 8.5, 9-yard gain up around the 40 before Mobley catches him from behind.
Boy, Jerome Bettis has such great feet. He's a big body at almost 40 pounds, but, he can just kind of slither through a hole. And then he can burst. He's got pretty good speed, good change of direction, and then power when he needs it.
They spotted his knee down at the 37 instead of up around the 40, so it's about a 5.5-yard gain. 2nd and officially 5. 3:26 on the clock, running in the third quarter. Offset I, wing right. Johnson motion from left to right. Motion in the line. No flag. Handoff. Bettis on a delay. Through everybody. First down to the 45-yard line.
Well, he's getting close to 100 yards as well, Jerome Bettis.
Darian Gordon makes the stop, and if you're a 180-pound cornerback sitting back there even in traffic and you see this individual coming at you, I don't think that's going to be the most fun sight.
Well, you know, it happens a lot because their offensive line does such a good job of blocking defensive linemen and linebackers. And so defensive backs are faced with the task of tackling Jerome Bettis quite often.
Gain of 8, first down. The Steelers at the 45, out of the eye. Stewart back to throw. He's got Bettis left flat, but he goes deep left side, caught. And it is Charles Johnson worming his way back down around the 41 of Denver, first down. The first catch, I was going to say, I think that's the first time I've called his name except for when he's been in motion. And Charles Johnson makes his first catch for a gain of 12.
You know, Yancey Thigpen has been their featured guy, but that time Charles Johnson on the left side ran a little hook route. Well thrown ball by Cordell Stewart right in between the 8 and 1 on his jersey, and made a nice catch and then hung on him. You know, he was getting scratched and clawed at and was still able to hang on for a first down.
At the 42 of the Broncos, Lester, the fullback, comes in motion now. Bettis, the deep man. Stewart, 5-step, drop to throw, pump fake, little underneath pass to Lester at the 40. And he's got the 35 and a gain of about 8 before Tanuvasa comes back to get him. The Steelers methodically marching. They started this possession at the 33 after, remember, a ruinous punt by Tom Ruin, the Denver punter, when he had a chance to bury the Steelers and got only a 10-yard punt and gave Pittsburgh field position at its 33.
Yeah, and Cordell Stewart now just needs to make good decisions the rest of this ball game. He has not made a couple poor decisions on interceptions, but with 125 in the third, down by 10, you cannot afford another turnover.
2nd and 3, handoff, Bettis. Straight up the middle, first down to the 30.
And that gets him to the 100-yard mark, I believe.
Aldridge, the middle linebacker, with the stop.
He's got 101, just like the highway. Yeah. And Terrell Davis, 109 yards on the day thus far. So the running backs have done their part against some pretty solid defensive teams. But now Cordell Stewart needs to use all those weapons again. He's throwing the ball to Lester this drive. He's throwing the ball to Charles Johnson this drive. You know, the two guys hadn't used much before, so he's using more of his weapons.
Neil Smith is back in now at defensive end for the Broncos. And Johnson in motion out of the eye on first down, the Steelers. Here's a play fake bootleg right by Stewart, being chased by Smith. Smith peels right off him. Stewart is run out of bounds at around the 32-yard line. He winds up losing a yard on a running play. Crockett up to make the stop.
Really good defensive play, both by Neil Smith and by Ray Crockett. Because Charles Johnson was the right wide receiver, came in motion down to the tight end area. Then he was going to run out in the right flat and catch a little short pass from Cordell Stewart. But Ray Crockett was not fooled, hung in there very well. And Neil Smith, in turn, put a lot of pressure on Cordell Stewart.
13 seconds left in the third quarter as the Steelers come up 2nd and 11 at the Denver 32. I formation. Receivers each way. And Stewart with a 5-step, 7-step drop. Rushed, escapes, pumps, hit from behind and dropped. The ball came out. It's rolling loose. I thought that ball had been called dead, but it wasn't. Back at the 42, and Denver recovers the fumble. Neil Smith recovers a fumble by Stewart. Forced the ball out, and the Broncos have it back as the third quarter comes to an end with the score Denver 24 and Pittsburgh 14. You're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS Radio Sports. Let's pause for this word.
This is today's GT Global Millennium Minute. The countdown is on.
Sports coverage of the AFC Championship game is sponsored by GT Global, by CBS Television, and by the Discover Card. With our award-winning producer, Norman Baer, and with Pat Hayden, I'm Brad Sham at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The AFC Championship game has 15 minutes to run, and the Denver Broncos are 15 minutes away from becoming only the 5th wild card team ever to advance to the Super Bowl. They have a 10-point lead. They go from our right to left from their 41 after the fumble recovery out of the eye. Elway back to throw. 7 steps. Has a lot of time. Heaves it to the left sideline. Incomplete from McCaffrey. He threw that ball away.
Well, the story of this game, they have had 4 turnovers thus far this year. This far this game. The Steelers started off so well, 14 points in their first 3 possessions, but the last 5 possessions, they've had 2 interceptions, a fumble, and 2 punts.
Well, we made the point earlier, the Steelers have given away the football this year in the regular season the 3rd most times in the AFC, and that's the neutralizer for them. And the Broncos on 2nd and 10 out of the I run a draw to Terrell Davis. Left guard spinning and punching his way up around the 45-yard line, a gain of 4. Joel Steed, the nose man, with a stop.
And a critical 3rd down play right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They trail by 10 points, 14:38 remain in the ball game. We've mentioned Denver being so good on 3rd downs.
Yeah, what are they?
I believe it's
4 out of 9 on 3rd down.
No, I think it's better than that.
In any event, they are 3rd and 6, and the crowd knows it's critical. The Steeler fans waving their towels. They're 6 out of 9. And Elway in the shotgun. This is big. They got to get to the 48-yard line. Elway blitzed from the outside, has time. Deep ball to the middle. Rod Smith alone at the 40 and spins away to the 35 with another first down. Another 3rd down conversion for the Denver Broncos.
And a great catch by Rod Smith. Another 20-yard gain. And how many square ends has he caught? And you know why he's catching so many square ends, Brad? Is because Shannon Sharp gets so much activity and attention over the middle. That time Shannon Sharp was blocking, but generally you worry so much about Shannon Sharp, your linebackers can't get back and cover the middle. Well, Rod Smith caught another square in again, and that one was a terrific catch as he had to adjust to the ball.
First down at the Pittsburgh 35, offset I-wing right. Pitch right, Terrell Davis. Griffith a block. Davis turns it up to the 30, turning around the 29-yard line. That's a gain of about 6 before Levon Kirkland gets him. 2 weeks ago in the wild card game in the AFC, Denver was 12 of 16, 75% on 3rd down against Jacksonville. And here they are today at 70% again.
Well, you know, you have an offensive line that has done a great job of protecting John Elway for the most part. But a lot of it is just the patience, experience, and the ability of John Elway.
2nd and 4. At the 29 of the Steelers, offset I-wing right, both receivers right. Now McCaffrey motion left. And Elway with a handoff to Davis, a little cutback toward the middle, and he's not going to get much. Maybe a yard, and Kevin Henry is waiting for him, and here's 3rd down again. I suspect them of intentionally running an ineffective 2nd down play so that they could have this 3rd down, which is what they like. It's a joke. It's a joke.
I understand.
However,
bad one again.
Yeah, thank you. For people listening who don't follow some of the, more obtuse statistics from week to week, we talk about 3rd down. If you convert 40% of your 3rd downs, you'll be in the top 4 or 5 of your conference and maybe the league every year. 40%. Well, they're at 70.
And here's another very, very important 3rd down for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
3rd and 4. Denver at the 29 of the Steelers. Elway back out of the gun. He is rushed and he is sacked back at the 37-yard line. And that's critical because it takes them out of field goal range.
Absolutely. They were in field goal range prior to that. It's the 2nd sack on Elway today. Elway did not force the ball, though, Brad. The one thing, he knows he's got a 10-point lead. Didn't force the ball. Now, Tom Ruin gets a chance to redeem himself. A moment ago, he had a 10-yard punt in a similar circumstance. Now, you can't punt this ball in the end zone, but you ought to be able to put it out of bounds or so at about the 10.
Levon Kirkland had the sack. Courtney Hawkins is the deep man, not Blackwell this time. See if Ruin can angle the punt. The snap is high. Ruin brings it down. He kicks it high in the air down the middle of the field, and it is caught in stride at the 12-yard line. A pretty play. Darius Johnson down to catch it, and that time the punter did his job. With 11:18 left in the game, Denver 24. Pittsburgh, eat your Wheaties. It's the breakfast of champions. And that might mean the breakfast of the Denver Broncos. 11 minutes away from the Super Bowl with a 10-point lead, but the Steelers have it back. Moving left to right at their own 11. They give it to Bettis at right tackle. Out to the 15, 16-yard line, a gain of 5. Now, Pat, what is the offensive approach down 10 with 11 minutes to play?
Well, I think one thing you better do is get yourself in and out of the huddle. I see one defensive player down for Denver. But in and out of the huddle because time is your enemy. A little over 11 minutes remaining in the ball game. And I think they've had such success with Yancey Thigpen, I'd give him some more chances.
The difference as they are attending to the injured Denver player who we haven't been able to identify yet, so we won't even speculate. And it looked like somebody might have fallen on the ball. We'll get the identification of the player, but time is called with 11:04 to play. You're listening to the AFC Championship game since the Denver Broncos played in the Super Bowl. And they have a chance. They're 11 minutes away, leading Pittsburgh 24-14. It's only been 2 years for the Steelers, and they're trying to climb back into the game and get back. 2nd and 5 at their own 16. Blitz look. No blitz. Stewart back to throw it out to his right. Caught by Thigpen. Dragged down after he got a first down at the Steeler 24. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
95.7 FM is WLRX, Napanee, Warsaw, Star 96.
Ray Crockett back in the Denver defense at cornerback. Pittsburgh 1st and 10 at its own 23 out of the eye. A draw to Bettis. Bounces off a tackle at center, out sideways to left guard. But Alan Aldridge, the big 240-pound middle linebacker, a good job of dragging Bettis down.
I'll tell you one thing I wouldn't be doing if I were Pittsburgh right now, down by 10 with now under 10 minutes remaining in the ball game, is huddling. I mean, I think they ought to huddle. Yeah, I really would, because you need obviously 2 scores plus an intervening good defensive series. So that's a lot of time.
Thigpen, 5 catches for 85. 3 of his catches in the second half. 2nd and 7. See if they go to him. Johnson out of the left slot comes motion right. 1 setback. Stewart back 3 steps. Looks right. It's dropped and knocked down. Incomplete at the 30. Darian Gordon jumped in front of Courtney Hawkins at the 30. He sat on it, jumped in front of it, and almost had it with his speed, Pat. I think if he'd have gotten it right there, he'd have gone the other way.
Absolutely. And good read by Darian Gordon. It looked like Cordell Stewart held the ball a little too long and kind of looked at Courtney Hawkins, and that gave plenty of time for Darian Gordon to see Cordell Stewart and react, and he drove on it and knocked the ball away. Probably could have accepted it easily and scored.
Now on 3rd down, the Steelers, an exceptional 3rd down team during the regular year. Back to throw. Stewart throws it out to the left. A sliding catch. Is it incomplete? No. Incomplete. Hawkins down on the ground, trapped it at around the 38. It would have been a first down. We're doing all this talking about Denver on 3rd down, but the Pittsburgh Steelers during the regular season were the best team in the league converting 3rd downs. 44.7. But not today. Today they are now 4 out of 10. And again, that's a pretty good percentage. But when the other guy's going 70, it really hurts you. And now Miller, again an uncertain punter, kicks it away to Gordon. A dangerous situation for the Steelers with the best punt returner statistically in NFL history near midfield. The snap is back, and Miller's kick is high and short. It's wobbly, and it hits at the 45 and rolls sideways, and Denver's going to have field position 60 yards away with a 10-point lead and 9:18 between 45 Eastern this afternoon. Just about 45 minutes from now.
Yeah.
Howard David and Matt Millen.
Yep.
At all 3 comms.
Yep.
In San Francisco, the NFC Championship. The Packers and the 49ers. Here, 9:18 left. The Broncos 24, the Steelers 14, and Denver takes over at its own 40-yard line after a short punt by Josh Miller of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Elway out of the eye, play action fake, deep middle, bad ball, incomplete. Oh, he had Sharp down the seam, and Elway simply overthrew him at the 40-yard line.
Well, it sure looked like he overthrew him, but I think Shannon Sharp stopped, and Elway thought he was going to continue to run up the field, but boy, was he open, and that would have been, at least a 20-yard gain to Shannon Sharp.
9:14 left, and the Broncos don't want to see the clock stop. It's like the twilight zone now for if you're Denver. This is the longest 9 minutes of your life. Offset I-wing right. Both wides left. Now McCaffrey in motion. Handoff Davis starting right. Cut back left. Might have lost his balance and got only a couple, and it'll be 3rd and 8. And the one thing for sure the Broncos don't want to do is go 3 and out. They don't want to eat up no time and turn the ball back over.
Well, 124 yards now for Terrell Davis on 21 carries. He has done his part. We've said it a couple times now, and it's critical. I mean, if Pittsburgh can't stop them here, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to win this ball game as they trail by 10.
All the scoring in the first half. Here's the big 3rd and 8 at the 42. Elway out of the shotgun, blitz from outside. Good pickup by Sharp. Hit as he throws incomplete. Too many blitzers. That time it was Chris Oldham, the veteran, coming up the middle. Sharp did a great job of picking up one safety to the outside, but Oldham came up the middle. Elway barely turned it into an incompletion instead of a fumble, and they'll have to kick it away.
And give Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator for Pittsburgh, some kudos for a very good scheme. I mean, he said before the game, we're going to come after them when they get in spread formation they have, and they have put heat on John Elway virtually in every situation like that.
Tom Ruin's 4th punt. Courtney Hawkins is deep. They don't rush it much. It's a short kick. Very high, but short. Fair catch. Called for and made by Hawkins at the Pittsburgh 30. And they are 70 yards away. Down by 10. 8:25 to play. A 28-yard kick. You're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS.
That's not good enough.
That's not enough. 10 points ahead on the road in the 4th quarter. And the Steelers not afraid of being behind, although obviously you don't want to be 10 down with 8:25 left.
Well, they do have all 3 timeouts.
Right.
They have a dynamic guy in Cordell Stewart who's done it before. Although, he can play ugly and then play great. Well, he's got the ugly part so far. Now it's time for him to play great.
All right, I formation behind Cordell Stewart. They start at the 31, moving from our left to right. And Stewart back 5 steps, throws it over the middle. Ball's tipped incomplete. Boy, they look like they had Bruner on a nice curl inside down the middle. But what nice coverage by John Mobley sliding over into the zone. And he got a hand on the ball and knocked it down.
Yeah, John Mobley is so quick. I mean, they drafted number 1 a couple of years ago, and he's got tremendous speed. And when you think you have a guy open, you deliver the ball. If you don't put enough juice on the throw, he's going to react and knock the ball away, which he did right there.
So here comes 2nd and 10. Pittsburgh at its 31, 8:21 remaining. And Stewart, a deep drop, 7 steps. Neil Smith coming, flushes him out right. Now here comes Traylor, and he spins away from him, and he's sacked at the 30-yard line. Good coverage by the Broncos, allowing first Smith and then Traylor to disrupt the pocket and sack Cordell Stewart.
In particular, the Denver Broncos safeties, Tyrone Braxton and Steve Atwater, have done a great job this game. I mean, Atwater had 1 interception in the first half, and Braxton has made some real nice plays. Crockett, one of the corners, has played particularly well. And Darian Gordon, who was beaten for 3 touchdowns in the first meeting, has played solidly.
Well, here's 3rd down and 11. And the Steelers in danger of doing what the Broncos just did. 7:43 and the clock running in the game. Well, here comes everybody up. 8 men on the line of scrimmage. They blitz. Stewart is hit. He throws the ball away to the right sideline, and it's broken up by Crockett as Thigpen wandered under another balloon ball, and there's an injured Bronco, one of the blitzers.
I think they have to go for it here. Why would they? They're going to set the punt team in. I know it's 4th and 10, but
and it's back at the 30-yard line. I think it was 7.5 minutes.
Maybe you're right. I'm sorry. I stand corrected. I also stand here next to you.
Correctly.
Yeah, thank you.
Josh Miller to kick it away to Gordon. And an outstanding defensive series for the Broncos that time, just as the Steelers had turned in the prior possession. Now Gordon waiting near his 30. And they do not rush the punt. And Miller's kick high and end over end. It will hit at the 33 and take a roll down around the 30 and die. And the Broncos will have it back, protecting a 10-point lead. 7 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the football game. Denver 24, Pittsburgh 14. Go almost to the day, January 14th, 1989, when John Elway and the Denver Broncos beat the Cleveland Browns in the AFC Championship 37-21 to advance to the Super Bowl. And that's the last time the Broncos have been in the big game, capital B, capital G. And they are 7:23 away from going again with a 10-point lead and the football at their 30.
I would expect to see a heavy dose of Terrell Davis.
High formation, offset to the right. McCaffrey motion to the left. Pitch right, Terrell Davis. Cut back left 30. Ooh, into trouble Dante Jones at the 32-yard line.
And Brad, if Denver hangs on to this 10-point lead and wins, and there's about 7 minutes remaining in the ball game, how fitting. And I don't know if John Elway's going to retire or not. I'd love to see him play for, well, as long as he wants. But remember, his very first game was played right here in 1983. He was 1 for 8. And all he can remember, he said, was Jack Lambert slobbering. And he said, hey, I wanted to give all the money back and go be an accountant after that game.
During that game.
Yeah.
2nd and 7 for the Broncos. 6:40 to play. Offset I-wing left. Toss left to Terrell Davis. He gets a block from Sharp, spins off a tackle, gets 2 yards to the 35. 6.5 minutes. Nolan Harrison made that tackle, and now they're going to have 3rd down and about 5. And, you know, you run a couple of plays like that, Pat, to get some time off the clock. Now you got to make a play. Now you want this first down if you're the Denver Broncos.
But with Terrell Davis in the game, this isn't necessarily just a passing down. It's 3rd and 5. I mean, you could give him the ball on a draw, a trap, or you could throw a screen pass to him as well.
Denver 7 out of 12 on 3rd down this afternoon. 6 minutes remaining in the championship game. 3rd and 5 from their own 35. Wing left, play fake. Elway throws it out, and Griffith dropped a pass thrown behind him, incomplete.
Same pass he caught for touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pass they should run to their right. I mean, because twice Elway has thrown that in the left flat to Howard Griffith. One time Griffith made a remarkable catch and scored. But if, you know, they should have run that play to the right. It's a much easier throw for a right-handed quarterback because Howard Griffith was open in the left flat, would have caught it for a first down.
Well, he would have caught it. Now, he would have caught it short of the first down. He might have run for enough yardage, but they're going to punt it away, and Will Blackwell's back in now, 5:53 to play. And Ruin, for Denver, has to have a good punt here. They don't rush the punt, and Ruin gets away a pretty good one. High, a little wobbly, hits at the 30. They wave it off, and it rolls down, takes a Denver roll inside the 25 to the 20-yard line. The Steelers are 80 yards away. They are down by 10 with 5:43 to play, a 45-yard kick.
Well, like Freddie Krueger, they're still hanging around.
Yes, they are.
I mean, they have a chance. And they have all 3 of their timeouts, and they have a quarterback who's not played well but does not get discouraged. And again, I think what they need to do is get the ball in both Yancey Thigpen's hands, but then Jerome Bettis on maybe a screen passer or not. But Bettis is not even in. Fred McAfee is in, see?
When they go to their nickel offense, they bring in McAfee. He replaced George Jones a few weeks ago as the nickel offensive back. Johnson goes in motion from right to left out of the gun. Stewart back, he's blitzed. A good pickup. Stewart rolling around, chased, pumps, dumps one off out the sideline, caught 35 and a first down. And out of bounds at the 36. A great play by Stewart. And Will Blackwell made that catch.
Yeah, it looked like Cordell Stewart was going to be sacked 2 or 3 different times and then had some composure and kind of rolled out to his right. Then after kind of bouncing around off people, real nice touch as he lobbed it over a Denver defender to Will Blackwell for a first.
A great blitz pickup block by Will Wolford, his veteran left guard. Now out of the gun on first down, back to throw, a little bullet over the middle, dropped by Johnson on a crossing pattern at the 45. It'll be 2nd down. 5:09 remaining in the championship game.
Boy, a very catchable ball to Charles Johnson. I mean, it wasn't a perfect throw, a little bit behind him. But it was one of those routes, kind of a crossing route. If you catch it, you have a chance to run away from the defender and maybe pick up another 10, 15 yards.
2nd down, 10, Pittsburgh at its own 37, trailing Denver 24-14. Stewart in the shotgun, 2 receivers on each side. And Denver showing blitz again, and here they come on 2nd down, and he throws it out in the left flat. The ball is caught on a little screen, and here goes Hawkins for about 8 yards, a yard short of the first down up at his own 46. Courtney Hawkins, the clock running inside 5 minutes.
Well, they've run that play, and now Alfred Williams is down for the Denver Broncos.
And the clock is stopped now at 4:48.
Oh, and the Denver coaches were hoping that he could get off the field, but they have to use a timeout, or the clock is stopped because of the injury to Alfred Williams.
4 minutes, 48 seconds remaining, and Alfred Williams holding his right knee as he is helped up. Now, here's the Discover Card payback play of the game. It's 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line of Pittsburgh. Elway with a play fake, back to throw in the left flat. Griffith with a one-handed catch to the 10, to the 5, to the goal line. and steps out. Touchdown! Touchdown, Denver Broncos.
What a
one-handed catch by Howard Griffith, the fullback. And that's our Discover Card Payback Play of the Game, sponsored by Discover Card.
We were both pretty excited about that.
Yes, we were. I was just going to say, here's a big play for the Steelers, 3rd and 1 at the 46. They run a little sneak for Stewart, and barely he's got the first down.
Now he's got to get his team up. Remember, the 4:30 and counting, down by 10 points. Cordell Stewart needs to get his team organized and the ball snap, because time is clearly his enemy.
4:20. Alfred Williams back in the game. How'd he do that? Snap is back out of the shotgun. Stewart rushed out of the pocket to his left, chased by Traylor Hill. Keep to the sidelines, out of bounds, 8 yards. Clock stops, 4:07 remaining.
Well, you know, when you're down by 10 points, you sure would love to see the opportunity to get the touchdown first, if you're thinking about, from Pittsburgh's standpoint. And then, an onside kick, and then, potential tying field goal. A long way to go, but you're certainly thinking touchdown first.
A 7-yard gain for Stewart. And that's only his second run for plus yardage in the game. That's one key for Denver.
Well, the other one was a 33-yard touchdown.
For the touchdown. Stewart out of the shotgun on 2nd down, back to throw. Pressured, throws it out to the right. Caught at the 40. First down, Pittsburgh. Nice leaning catch by Blackwell, the rookie, Will Blackwell, in front of Darian Gordon. And the sticks move to the Denver 40. 3:49 left in the game. Without a huddle, they go now. Stewart in the shotgun. The snap is back. A 3-man rush. He throws it right. Caught. 36-yard lines. And Gordon blasts the receiver, Charles Johnson, out of bounds.
Well, he's in field goal range right now. But again, 3:38 remaining in the ball game. 3 timeouts remaining. They're down by 10 points.
And the Broncos only had 10 defenders on the field on that last play.
It's difficult.
Maybe that's why they had a 3-man rush. 3:38. 2nd down and 2. Pittsburgh at the Denver 32. Down by 10. The Steelers trying to mount a memorable comeback. Out of the shotgun, Stewart. No rush at all. He throws it left. Caught. Thick pen at the 35.
Kept him in.
First down, but he did get kept in bounds by Darian Gordon. 3:27 and the clock running.
Well, again, 3 timeouts remaining, too, for Cordell Stewart, who continues to run his no-huddle offense.
And they're playing. I want to ask you about the advisability of not rushing. Here's the blitz now, and they throw it right. It is caught by Hawkins, and he's caught it at the 15-yard line and then wrestled down as the clock runs at 3:07. I mean, the play before they had a 3-man line and dropped them all. They rushed nobody.
That time they did change it up. They did come up with a safety blitz. It was well picked up, well protected by Fred McAfee, the nickelback.
On 2nd down, Stewart back. Looks right, looks left, has a day and a half. Flushed out right, pointing, throwing it into the end zone for Johnson. Touchdown in the back of the end zone for Charles Johnson. And the Steelers are an extra point away from cutting the lead to 3.
The thing about Cordell Stewart, he can be really, really bad and really ugly, and then he can turn it on. This drive, he's been magnificent. Very patient. The Denver Broncos, for the most part, almost every play, he was 6 of 7 for 60 yards on that drive. They were in that prevent defense. The one time they did come with a safety blitz, it was well protected. But Pittsburgh, with 2:46 remaining, down by 4, waiting for the extra point here, has an absolute opportunity to get back in the ballgame.
The extra point kick by Norm Johnson is good. And the score has become Denver 24 and Pittsburgh 21.
Well, now you come into the get all your hands team out there for the Denver Broncos, expecting the onside kick. Now there's a new onside kick going around this year, Brad. Morton Anderson started it all off with the Atlanta Falcons, and it's one where it's very effective on AstroTurf. If you get enough zip it and you hit the ball real low, it hits the ground immediately and goes straight up in the air. Of course, obviously goes over 10 yards. And you can't fair catch it because the ball has hit the ground already. And very, very difficult. I have seen more onside kicks recovered this year than I ever have.
That score has brought the Steeler fans to a rocking rumbling, rousing chant, black and gold, terrible towels being waved all over Three Rivers Stadium, and the crowd is back to life.
Boy, I tell you, I would like to be the guy that has it kicked to you for the Super Bowl.
Thank you anyway.
You know, I mean, on the onside kick attempt, you see Shannon Sharp up there. You see the wide receiver, Patrick Jeffers, up there, who's not touched the ball yet today. Tyrone Braxton's up front.
Well, here it comes, the onside kick with 2:46 to play. And Johnson picks the ball up, puts it back down on the tee, and they look like they're maybe going to kick it away.
Well, 2:46, that may be a mistake.
He approaches the ball, and he bums it away. Deep. And Hebron watches it hit at the 5, fields it at the 1, brings it up at the 10, and killed at the 11.
Well, Denver got a bad break when that ball didn't go into the end zone. And give Norm Johnson some credit. He punched that drive. It landed on about the 2-yard line, and it was like a Bellata golf ball. It backed up.
Bill Cowher was all the way to the numerals at the 25-yard line out on the field, telling his men, all right, way to go. We got the kick we wanted. Our defense can get us back in it now.
You know, John Elway has played so well when his team was behind in this situation. Really a different circumstance for him. 2:38, his team is up by 3 points, but he needs a drive.
Elway, split backs, half roll to the right, throws on the run. McCaffrey caught it at the 15.
Clock keeps going.
Rolled down inbounds, a good break for Denver at the 17-yard line.
You got to wait for the 2-minute warning here.
Someone's called time.
Boy, no, McCaffrey got hurt.
Uh-oh. McCaffrey shaking. Oh, he's still down on the sideline.
I mean, real bad for McCaffrey, but boy, it forces them to use the clock to be stopped.
The touchdown by the Steelers moments ago was the first score by either team in the second half. And McCaffrey got a real jarring neck tackle from Myron Bell. And he is still down on the sideline. I tell you, I hate to say it, that really looked nasty because McCaffrey was trying to lean away from the hit, and it looked like his head kind of moved. But now we see that it's his knee.
He's grabbing his left knee.
I'm relieved to see that because not that his knee is hurt, but I mean, I thought that was something much worse. Now, he is off the field to play, so they can go ahead and run the play if they want. 2 minutes, 27 seconds left, and it's obvious what has to happen for Pittsburgh if they get a stop. It is 2nd and 4. If they get a stop, they got a chance for get the ball back, kick a field goal.
You know what happened there, though, Brad? Though the injury, as bad now, we're happy to see Ed McCaffrey up and walk around. As bad as it is for McCaffrey, the clock was still running. They could have gotten it down to the 2-minute. Well, now they got the clock going again. So why don't they? There's only 17 on the. They missed by a second.
2nd down and 4. The crowd is going berserk. Denver at its own 17 with a 3-point lead. Offset eye, wing right, Elway, handoff, Terrell Davis. Cuts, he's crunched for a loss at the 15-yard line. Earl Holmes with the stop as we get to the 2-minute warning. And you're listening to the AFC Championship.
Paying extra fees on calling card calls. For details, call 1-800-878-3288. AT&T, it's all within your reach.
Hilda Gerg's an alpine skier from Germany, and she was called a phenom at the age of 18, but now, 3 years later, she's living up to high expectations. She finished 3rd overall in the
success on 3rd down. We'll talk more about it after we pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
95.7 is WLRX, Napanee, Goshen.
The Broncos are still an excellent 7 of 13 on 3rd down, but they were 7 of 10. They failed to convert the last 3, and none more important than this. 3rd down, 6 at their own 15 with a 3-point lead and 2 minutes left.
Could be a quarterback draw here.
Elway in the shotgun. Blitz is on. Elway back, throws it left. Shannon Sharp, 1st down, 25. Running away at the 30 to the 33 and caught from behind by Darren Perry.
No bigger play this season for the Denver Broncos than that conversion there on 3rd down. 146. That's 18-yard gain to Shannon Sharp on 3rd and 5. Forces Pittsburgh to use one of their 3 timeouts. And that may be the difference in them going to the Super Bowl.
That time they got Sharp singled up on Jason Gilden, and he was able to make a little move. He made a little move to the outside and got Gilden leaning that way. Then he turned his body back into the inside, and Elway put the ball right on the money. And timeout then called by the Steelers with 1:46 remaining. Denver with the ball at its own 33-yard line.
Well, we've seen John Elway, as we talked about a moment ago, bring his team from behind 40 times during his career. Now, he's ahead, but it's a kind of similar situation. He wants a drive.
He has to have a drive.
And again, Pittsburgh has 2 timeouts remaining, 1:46 in the ball game with Denver up by 3 points.
First down, Denver, offset I wing left at its own 33. And Elway with a play fake, bootleg right. He's got McCaffrey in front, dumps it for him at the 40. First down, Denver, as he leans forward to around the 47-yard line. Stays in bounds, 1:35. Tick-tock, tick-tock.
A great play by Ed McCaffrey. Kind of limping around a little bit, hurt his left knee just a few moments ago, but playing through it. Catches the ball in the right flat on a naked bootleg by John Elway, and then stays in bounds to keep the clock rolling. 1:15 remaining in the ball game.
Steelers with 2 timeouts remaining.
Yeah, and again, Denver with a first down. I'm surprised they're not using that timeout.
I am too. 1:05, 1:04, 1:03.
And actually, I think Elway's going to wait for 1 second remaining and then call timeout.
And he'll use a timeout. 58 seconds remaining in the game. And the Broncos with a 24-21 lead. Our producer, Norman Baer, reminds us something Bill Cowher pointed out earlier in the week, that the Steelers, of course, have hosted the championship game twice in the last 3 years before today. And both times when they beat the Colts and when they lost to San Diego, the game came down to the last play of the game, a pass in the end zone. One incomplete when the Steelers were able to hold the Colts at bay, and then one that San Diego caught to send them to the Super Bowl against the 49ers just 3 years ago.
Well, I mean, Denver, again, they have a first down. There's only 58 seconds remaining. You're going to see Terrell Davis take a couple of, maybe a sweep, but they want to use as much time. And Pittsburgh will call a timeout immediately, but they can run this clock out with maybe like a 4 or 5 yard gain.
That's
really.
It. 58 seconds remaining. Denver at its own 43. First down, a 3-point lead. And Elway on first down, handoff, Davis. Into the line at left guard. A yard to the 45. Timeout, Pittsburgh. 52 seconds remaining to be played. Again, it was 7-0 Denver. And then the Steelers tied it on a brilliant run off a play fake by Cordell Stewart. And then Bettis put them ahead 14-7. Denver made it 14-10. Took the lead they've not relinquished on Elway's pass to Howard Griffith late in the second quarter. And then the Broncos added a touchdown late in the second quarter. There was a pretty big one on the pass to McCaffrey.
Yeah, boy.
The Steelers turned the ball over their last possession of the first half, and their only 2 third quarter possessions, and before they scored to make it 24-21. So those turnovers will loom large if the Broncos join Buffalo and the Raiders and the Patriots and the Cowboys as the only wild cards to reach the Super Bowl.
And the Raiders, the 1980 Raiders, the only wild card team to win the Super Bowl.
Now it is the 2nd and 8 at the 45 of Denver. I formation offset to the right, handoff. Davis coming left. He's got a little room. 45, midfield, left side 45, 40-yard line of the Steelers.
Game's over.
Tackled in bounds at the 35.
That will do it. They get a first down, 39 seconds remaining. Pittsburgh only has 1 timeout remaining, but they'll use it. But they can take a knee, and Denver will be going to San Diego for the 2nd time to play in a Super Bowl. They played the Washington Redskins there and actually had a lead. I think it was 10-0 over the Redskins.
Well, the jumping up and down has commenced on the Denver sideline. The Broncos, 13 seconds yet to tick away, are going to San Diego. The Denver Broncos, a wild card, are going to the Super Bowl. Elway to a knee, 2 seconds, 1 second, and the Denver Broncos are the champions of the AFC. The final score in the AFC Championship game. The Denver Broncos 24, the Pittsburgh Steelers 21. You're listening to the AFC Championship game on CBS Radio Sports.
The Steelers lose at home, a game away from the Super Bowl. And John Elway certainly has earned the chance. He played like a star today, didn't he?
Well, the whole team did for the Denver Broncos. They came in, they played to win on both sides of the ball. They tried to force the action. Their defense early did a terrific job. Tyrone Braxton said to us yesterday, and I thought about this a lot today, he said if we can get them to throw the ball, we can force them into mistakes. They did. They took advantage of them. Of course, the Denver's offense always goes after it.
Bill Cowher, the Pittsburgh native, with that disappointing trip into the locker room. Broncos revenge tour. They got Jacksonville. Last week, Kansas City. And another team that tormented them this year, Bill Cowher's Pittsburgh Steelers. The final score, 24-21. Denver the winner. The trophy presentation, Don Shula celebrating the 25th anniversary of that unbeaten Miami Super Bowl champion team will present the Lamar Hunt Trophy. Don't go away. We'll be back in Pittsburgh in a moment.
Adamstown, Pennsylvania.
Some very happy Denver Broncos. Neil Smith, Alfred Williams, and let's start with you, John Elway. This game here today, it seemed as though it was quite a struggle. No points in the second half, 24-14. Took a while to get on track. How would you describe this game?
Well, I tell you what, it was awful loud when we started. We started slow, but we were able to make some big plays there in the second quarter and get ahead. And then after that, man, the defense just took over. They kept stopping them, and we struggled a little bit offensively, but the defense just hung in there. And then when they did get it down there and get it close, we got the first downs when we needed them. So it was a big team win.
Are you thinking at all, hey, we have several chances here with 9 minutes, and we go 3 and out 2 or 3 times? You're starting to think, uh-oh, this could slip away?
Well, yeah, it was definitely scary at that time, but I think that we knew that all we had to do is, if we could just put one in, get one score in there, that we could put the dagger in the heart, but we couldn't do it. They kept fighting, and you got to give them a lot of credit. They never gave up, and it made it awful tough.
John, your 4th Super Bowl now, an opportunity. Everybody has been talking, 37 years old, one more try, you're going to get it. Tell us about your feelings right now, and do you savor this moment, or will it be incomplete if you don't win?
Well, no, I tell you what, we're going to go in there and play the best game that we can possibly play, and hopefully we come out with a win. If we don't, we still had a great year. But I tell you what, we're going to put everything we got into that, and hopefully it's good enough to win.
We look forward to seeing you in San Diego. Congratulations, John.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, the trophy presentation time. Let's send it over to Greg Gumbel. Come on, guys.
The AFC Championship trophy, the Lamar Hunt trophy, goes to the winner of the AFC Championship and half the ticket to the Super Bowl. Here to present that trophy to the Denver Broncos today is the winningest head coach of all time in the National Football League. 25 years ago, he and his Miami Dolphins won the AFC Championship game here in Pittsburgh en route to a perfect 17-0 season. Don Shula will present the trophy to Pat Bowlen of the Denver Broncos. Don.
Thank you. On behalf of the American Football Conference, I want to present this Lamar Hunt trophy to today's winner, the Denver Broncos. What a great victory. Their owner, Pat Bowlen, is up here. Mike Shanahan, the head coach, has done such a fine job. And what's really impressed me was that this football team for the last 2 weeks has gone into Kansas City and won. And now they've come into Pittsburgh and won the ball game that puts them into the Super Bowl. So, Pat, congratulations to you on this tremendous accomplishment, and also to Mike, and good luck to you. The AFC in the Super Bowl. Let's win it.
Thank you, Don. It's a great pleasure to accept this trophy from one of the greats of our game. Thank you for being here. I want to tell the fans here in Pittsburgh, the team, the ownership, we're very proud to have beat a very good organization. We've got a lot of respect for the people here in Pittsburgh and for this organization. We will go on to the Super Bowl, and we will represent the AFC very well. And we're really looking forward to seeing San Diego. Thank you. Pat, I have to ask you, you're a veteran of this. This will be your 4th Super Bowl in your tenure as head of the Denver Broncos, the 5th for the franchise. But when you walked up here a couple of minutes ago, you said you were in something of a daze. I was in a daze. I feel like I was back in Cleveland in 1986. it was just about that kind of a game, and it was a close game all the way and fought very hard by both teams. And I think the AFC is going to go to the Super Bowl this year and win it.
Pat, thank you. Congratulations. Also with us up here is the head coach of the Denver Broncos, Mike Shanahan. Mike, congratulations to you. You have repeatedly said that maybe this is happening a year later than everybody thought it would, that maybe you guys felt this is what should have taken place a year ago, but it didn't.
Well, we feel very fortunate. We had a team today that fought very hard. Offense, defense, and special teams. As Pat just said, we beat a very good football team and a great organization. So on behalf of the Denver Broncos, we'd like to thank the Steelers, and we'll try to represent the AFC, hopefully in the right way.
Pinpoint a key moment in this game this afternoon.
Well, went back and forth the whole game. I think the big point was that 3rd down and 5, 3rd down and 6 that we converted. Of course, Pittsburgh had a chance to be in field goal position or possibly a touchdown with enough time left. So it was one of those hard-fought games that went both ways, and very proud of our players.
You probably won't be asked this in the next couple of weeks, so I might as well ask you about this 13-game winning streak that the NFC has in the Super Bowl.
Well, they have. They've played very hard. Hopefully that we're physical enough on both sides of the football to compete with them. It'll be a great matchup, whoever it is.
This West Coast offense is powered by passing. But slowly, very slowly, the run game gained favor with Holmgren.